Hello. Good afternoon. I mean, it's afternoon here where I am. Coming to you not at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, it's 1 p.m., but don't worry about that. I figured it out. I am here today with another topic. Thursday, halfway through the week, for me anyway, because I do the 6 days a week thing. Um, Pardon me if I seem a little, I don't know, allergies just they be allergying. I'm under them. It's okay. It's fine though. I feel like the pollen has truly been kicking my butt lately, but we're still here. We're still fighting for it. And yeah, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Hold on. Let me adjust. I feel like my camera is off center and this happens every single time. It's funny because I feel like I had like 40 streams in a row where I did not have a single. Okay, there we go. I think I fixed it. 40 streams in a row where my camera wasn't off center even once, and now it's been wrong every single time, but that's okay. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're new, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. The first 30 minutes or so, I usually don't immediately jump right into the topic. I just yap, kind of warm up or whatever. And today's no exception. I just feel like high key today's topic is just baffling for so many reasons. Is really all I have to say about that. I think usually, yeah, that's all. If you haven't heard about this whole BTS featuring Gemini AI and Chris Brown, two separate incidents, both occurring within the last few days, you will. There's just a lot going on here, and I'm confused. I don't understand how any of this is a good idea or what they thought was going to happen. But yeah, I figured we would take a look at that, how people are reacting. One of the reasons I'm talking about it is because I think this is maybe the most I've seen their fan base actually criticizing them over something. Somebody said what in all caps. I'm being so serious about them like showing up and posting. It's just a lot. It's literally a lot. Someone says I'm coming from Twitter and the number of people defending them is baffling. I think whereas you do have, as always, there's going to be people defending literally everything that any famous entity does. In this specific case, I have seen way more BTS fans actually calling this out than defending it, which I think is good. And that's part of the reason I was already going to talk about the AI thing because it happened like the day before yesterday or a couple days ago. And then this Chris Brown thing literally just happened. And yeah, I genuinely believe this is the first time I think Army's consensus seems to be we hate this. So I mean I'm sure somebody will correct me about the many times that this has happened, but I'm just telling you from an outside perspective. It registers as anomalous, the amount of pushback that they're getting from their fans, which I think is good in this specific case. But yeah, we'll talk about all of that. Just the sort of hypocrisy required, I guess, to be popular to this extreme while also supporting or, verbally, and then your actions are contradicting this. There's just a lot going on, really. But someone says, I will never understand the unshakable hold Chris Brown has over these artists. Maybe I'll go on a Chris Brown rant during the stream. Because me neither. I've said this before and I'll say it again. He's literally not that good. He's not that good. He's not the type of vocalist to where I would understand, even though it's never an excuse, I would understand why people are trying to excuse this. He's not the kind of performer, not the kind of dancer. He doesn't have the kind of presence where I'm like, yeah, I completely understand, even though they're wrong. People do this with Prince. People do this with Michael Jackson. People do this with... He's not on that level. He's not. Chris Brown, compared to the way he's considered by his fans, is completely mediocre. So it's actually genuinely baffling. Like with Michael Jackson, that's not something someone you should be defending just because you enjoy his music. And also, I see the image, I see the chokehold, I can see all those things, and how I'm like, okay, well, I guess I see what people are ignoring in favor of all of this show-stopping ability that he also had. That's still a wrong choice, but I do have eyes, I can understand where they're coming from. And that's just not happening with Chris Brown. It's very, very bizarre. Yes, he's talented, but literally, I'm so sorry. He should be considered a dime a dozen. I can't. I really can't. Truly cannot. Someone said, I feel like it's the nostalgia that gets people. Yeah, because it's like people are acting like they can't find the Chris Brown music experience anywhere else. Also, wait, I don't even think I put this in my... Wait a second. I need to add a line to my outline because I just realized I'm talking about BTS promoting AI and then also BTS posting Chris Brown and all that stuff. I forgot that Chris Brown... I mentioned it in my other video, but he's doing the whole AI thing too. So it's just problems on problems on problems. I got to pull up the Pitchfork music review and add that to my outline. You're getting live research right now. Pitchfork review, Chris Brown. I figured the obvious assault was a bigger deal than this. Wait, did they not review it? No, they did. Oh, they gave him a 1.3. Dang, bro, that is absolutely wild. Okay, I'm gonna do that for real. I feel like 1.3 is a valid score for somebody who... Okay, to be fair, Chris Brown didn't say he was actually using AI, which I have to remind myself. To be fair, I can't spread misinformation online because then I'm going to be a bad YouTuber, right? So I'm going to say allegedly, allegedly AI produced 1.3, certainly AI vibes. Okay, hold on. Let me just put this in here as a little aside. Pitchfork review AI allegations. Okay, cool. I don't think that that's nearly as important as anything else I have in here, but it's relevant enough. All right, there we go. Live research. So boring. This is why I don't do it live. I do it all beforehand. Whew. Anyways, hey all. Hi everybody. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of being tired. Someone said Tyga 0.0 suffers. Yeah, Tyga just got 0 over admitting to using AI. Is anybody else tired of being tired at this point? Because I am. I despite my best efforts truly to get the right amount of sleep, I woke up today tired, and then I don't know. I got tired because the very fact that I was fatigued just added on to my fatigue, and now I'm tired squared. So yeah, I'm very, very over this. It's the weather, it's the allergies, it's obviously the climate that we're in, the way of things, to be vague. Yeah, no, it's not a good time for whimsy. I'm trying to maintain what little I can hold on to, but alas, someone's absolutely just so tired, bro. Yeah, we're gonna get through this. I'm not worried about that. I just need the getting through this to happen faster. Does that make sense to you? That's where I am. I'm not like really very pessimistic. I try to be realistic, so I'm certainly not an optimist. But like, I'm not really fatalistic. I know things will get better. I just want it to happen right now. Because I feel like I've waited long enough. But that's okay. We are absolutely going to do what we can. So I'm exhausted AF. I would be more surprised if somebody kind of wasn't tired at this point. Nah. Someone says when it's hot all the time, it makes it so much worse. It really does. It's like energy on energy on energy. Just someone in chat said, I know this isn't Twitch, but Twitch just opted all users into training generative AI. You have to go in and manually turn it off. I'm so effing sick of AI. Yes, I saw that headline. To be fair, I didn't read the article because I'm not on Twitch. I was going to look into it later, but yeah, apparently it's automatically enabled that if you're streaming on Twitch right now, they're training their AI off of you, and you have to go and change it. So definitely spread that word. Again, I may be spreading misinformation because I didn't read the article, but I was going to look into that. Like, what is going on? What is going on? Oh, man. I feel like the more people who say that or who spread this info, the better. You should know that Twitch is doing this for sure. I mean, it's not like YouTube is better and that they're like not telling us. They're training their AI on us, obviously, and they're not even informing us. But like, if you have the ability to opt out of it, go do that for sure, is how I feel. Also, warning, warning alert. We've got a couple of nuanced topics coming up today, which I'm sure you could guess from the title. And I feel like the vast majority of what I'm going to go over is fairly straightforward, but I find myself getting into multiple things being true territory as we talk a little bit about like some of the backlash BTS has gotten over their political decisions. So I'm going to float this one by you first before saying it in the video, just to make sure you feel like it's coming from a logically consistent place. I'm going to mention BTS years ago performing in Saudi Arabia via invitation from the Crown Prince. I did see what I considered to be valid pushback from BTS fans of saying like, that's just really convenient how you see all of this pushback. Obviously, BTS in Saudi Arabia, wild, right? But then like BTS performing in the United States at the World Cup 2026 this year is somehow not seen as a bad thing, because Americans have this tendency to view themselves as the good guy even when they are actively like destabilizing and contributing equal if not more amounts of harm than the places that they're so adamant about criticizing. I feel like yes, but also my point is mostly don't accept an invitation from Saudi Arabia, the actual literal dude who is like hiring assassins to kill journalists for speaking out against this regime. I also would say please don't contribute to the whitewashing of America either. But I really, really hope that when I say this one thing, I don't have a bunch of pushback of like, oh, you typical American. No, honestly, the more people or entities that boycott America, the better. Our normalization of the very same genocide that we pretend to be horrified about when other people commit it is actually so dangerous and destructive, obviously. But that just doesn't mean it's not worth pointing this out. Yeah, someone said both are bad. I would highly agree there. So yeah, I know that there are people actually who will like cover their eyes when it comes to looking at the place that you're literally in, the place that you're typing from. But I am aware, I'm aware that I'm American. Yeah, obviously. But I just feel like we have choices in things. Being American was not necessarily something I opted into, versus like accepting this kind of invitation is totally an opt-in thing that I don't think it's crazy to say maybe opt out of that. I don't know. That's how I feel about that personally. But hopeful, I hope to God that goes over well. I've been trying to like anticipate people taking things in interesting and creative ways, because that happens anytime you say anything, and it literally is what it is. It literally is what it is. At the end of the day, I know where I'm coming from, and I'm gonna do my best to explain it, and I can't do more than that. Someone said you have to get into all the individual racism scandals. I literally can't do that because I don't follow them closely enough to do that. I could, but that's not the point of this video. It's mostly about their recent backlash. I'm just trying to fit it all into all of this stuff. Someone said, dang, straight up America is crap. I never thought I lived in a bad country, but dang, I guess. No, yeah, I mean, if you made like a top 5, I think we would make the top 5 every time. Worst countries. I would be shocked for anyone to not include us there for sure. And yeah, American exceptionalism is truly a form of brain rot, I believe, or just the dissonance, which I still have in my heart. Which I still have in my heart as an American citizen, obviously, but I just try to be cognizant of it every day. That's really all I can do. Everybody keeps asking what happened. Nothing happened yet. I haven't started the stream. I'm just spitballing a few takes before we get into them later to make sure that they're landing properly. Someone said, no, like we suck. Yeah, no, there's nothing to defend, I guess is how I feel. And there really shouldn't be a double standard, because honestly, if you have a double standard for why it's okay for America to do something and it's not okay for some other country to do something, if not xenophobia, I feel like it often is just an extension of some form of white supremacist bigotry as well. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, if I'm just being honest, that's what it's giving. So let's not do that. Let's not do that challenge, please. Someone said we live in a dumpster fire. Yeah, no, Lord Almighty. I wish I had. I don't know what I wish. Wishing isn't necessary. It's really not. Someone says, I think it's silly that people say you're anti-America because you want more and better for this country. At this point, I think it's okay to be anti-American. I'm anti what y'all, derogatory, have turned America into. The actual country names mean multiple things, right? The United States of America is a collection of people. It's a geographical region. It's a government. It's a military. It's a lot of things. And so there are some things that this refers to that I do like. I like my people who live here. There's a lot of amazing, beautiful people here. It's also an actual global entity, and I don't support it. I'm against the United States of America. That's not something you should be pro when we are literally contributing to multiple human rights violations all across the world, etc. So yeah, it's tricky, but it's not so tricky that we should just ignore the conversation entirely. I feel that's how I feel about that personally. Reading chat. Someone said turned into. This is literally what it's always been. Well, I mean, obviously, as a descendant of slavery, I'm aware that America's a farce. Hopefully, I don't have to say that. I'm here probably, definitely, because someone raped one of my ancestors. So thanks for the reminder. But yeah, sorry if my wording was a little off. What I mean is America is an idea and we don't live out the idea properly, which is what I mean, what people turned America into. But yeah, duh, it's always been bad. Someone said, I love your eyebrows, by the way. Thank you. I'm going to dye them again. Actually, I think tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Also, sorry if that response was like mean. I'm just feeling a certain way, bro. I'm really feeling a certain way today. And it's not your fault. I'm mad at everything. So it is what it is. It really, really is what it is. Oh my gosh. It is what it is. Someone said, as an immigrant, I hate it here. Okay, this story's gonna sound made up, but like, I'm just gonna tell it anyway. Somebody of one of my Uber drivers who is one of my Uber drivers, as if I employ Uber. I was in an Uber and the driver was literally just asking me and multiple of I took it he was asking everybody who sat back there, like, could you please vote against all of this? He was citing recent changes that happened in Florida where they're trying to ban immigrants from attending university. This is a change that would mean thousands of students who are currently either applicable or eligible or enrolled in universities would wind up just getting cut because Florida is like, yes, let's just do a ban on quote unquote undocumented people. And he was basically just like, hey, I'm just shooting. I usually don't talk politics in the Uber, but I've just been floating this around with everybody. If you are planning on voting, that would be great. And I was just like, of course I told him like, oh yeah, don't worry. I'm totally planning on that. And I agree with you that this is xenophobia, racism. He called it racism. It is. But I got out of the car and I was just like, this is pretty bad that we have immigrants in this country who are literally asking strangers like, hey, I have family in Florida that would not be able to go to college, and I can't vote for this to not happen. Can you please just do what you can? So there's really definitely just no excuse, I feel, for not being tapped in, because there's always levels to this. But yeah, I appreciated, I guess, him saying that. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, dude, it's just not good for anybody. It's really, really not. Someone said based Uber driver. I'm glad he felt comfortable. I mean, I don't hopefully look like a conservative. I'm sure he's not asking literally everybody who hops in the back seat, but I am a voter. I am somebody who would absolutely vote against this. God, someone said, "Oh, this actually said, yeah, no, it's a mess. It really is." Whew. Someone said, "Any other countries want to take me?" You know that race song, "Where the hell is my husband?" I feel like where the hell is my country? That's how I feel right now. Like there has to be one out there, truly somewhere, maybe. But then it's like I also have this guilt of I don't even want to go anywhere else because I feel like they don't deserve that bad karma of me showing up with my ignorant self. Like I try not to be ignorant, obviously, but I'm like, do y'all really need another American in your country? I don't know about that. So sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Let's just stay here and suffer. Just kidding. But I don't know. I have weird guilt over this, even though I don't think it's me doing anything specifically. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Someone said I don't look like a conservative is such a flex. I mean, to be fair, I guess I should acknowledge you can't really look like a conservative. But like obviously no chat, there's no actual, look. Having traits doesn't, but also there's a whole lot of ways to easily signal that you are, and I certainly avoid those. Someone said yes, you obviously can look conservative. It's very easy to do. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's so easy. I don't think you should assume that people are without clear warning signs, but I'd be judging the hell out of people. I'm like, wow, what a choice. Truly, what a choice. Someone said the conservative uniform is a mental thing. It's primarily mental, absolutely. Obviously, not everybody's going to be walking around literally wearing red, Make America Great Again caps, but you just got to be careful, bro. You got to be careful out there. Someone said, I'm ready to move to Norway or Sweden or something. Take me with you. Just kidding. I don't know if they want me there, but I'll do what I got to do, bro. I'll learn. I don't know. I'll learn the language for you. Hypothetical, less unethical country. Take me. My God. Someone said, tried to say the right thing, folded immediately. There's definitely a way to look conservative, or at least a way to clearly not look like one. Yeah, no, there. Let's not lie. You can look racist. Okay, hold on a second. Let's not lie. There is no look that a person would ever have that I would say without a doubt means I know what their political positions are. I'm not going to say this because of the way that you do your makeup or the way that you do your hair or the kinds of t-shirts you're wearing or the kinds of baseball caps you're wearing. Obviously. I literally live in the United States South. I can't go around assuming Jerry Joe in his Bass Pro Shops hat voted for Trump, right? But also, there's so many things available to you. Between the hats and the t-shirts and the trends and the hair and the everything that you can do, where it is a look that you absolutely can play into on purpose, and people do it. They do it. Y'all can't gaslight me into thinking there's no look. I'm not saying that y'all are trying to do this. I'm not going to let the world trick me into thinking that there's no American racism look, because there is one, and y'all be wearing that joint proudly. It's off-putting. But yeah, like some people just look the way that they do. It's not something that's going to be on your face. That's not a thing, obviously. But there's so many interesting things you can do besides just using your face to signal who you are to people. Someone says, I'm African and I've met so many white Americans and even black Americans, and I'm like, MAGA. Bro, we be out here though. Like, okay, this is already a very political stream, so I'm not gonna like launch into a tirade against. Well, yes, I am. Black MAGA voters That is crazy. That's crazy of y'all. First of all, it's absolutely like completely unethical and wrong for anybody to do this. Duh. I hold all of his voters accountable, the majority of which are not black. But I'm just that subset of black MAGA voter. It's like I don't even want to know what's going on in your mind. And that applies to anybody who is in any marginalized group whatsoever that is being targeted by this administration. So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Someone said queer MAGA voters. Okay. Admittedly, I have encountered a lot fewer of those, but yes, I have encountered conservative, proud conservative LGBT people. And I know this sounds made up, but literally I think it's like they've convinced themselves that there's no political element whatsoever, or their very identity is not being politicized by the people they're supporting. I guess I'll just never understand it. And I don't want to understand it. But yeah, I have much more smoke for MAGA itself, like the actual Trump administration and Trump and all of those people and his primary voter base than I do before I start pointing the finger elsewhere. But I've got plenty of fingers to point is how I feel about that. It's a type of person and I don't understand it. And I literally never, ever will. Never will. Someone said Blair White. You don't want to be a Blair White, chat. In a world of infinite possibility, literally infinite possibility, you don't want to be a Blair White. That's insane. It really, really is. I made a whole long video about Blair White. One of the videos I made before realizing anything about being non-binary that directly talked a lot about being non-binary, which is so funny. I'm sure watching that video back now would be a trip. But I pretty much stand by everything I said in that video, which is that there's something very alluring about being countercultural, no matter what form it takes. And in Blair's case, she was like pandering to a lot of this, like, rational. I am a rational trans person, and I want to be seen as someone who's not crazy, like these weirdo non-binary losers that are messing up the transgender label for me and all of my rational fellow. And like, there is something that actually that does have a chokehold on you. Not you, obviously. I'm sure you can see past that. But I was a lot younger when I first encountered her content, and I didn't see past it. A lot of the people watching didn't. And a lot of this, I feel like a lot of this is like, it's a fake answer to a problem that you want to solve. At the end of the day, you as a trans person don't want to be discriminated against. Duh. I don't as a non-binary person. So like, obviously the right answer, well, it shouldn't be an answer of something that we would have to do. But obviously the right answer is doing the hard work of pushing for change so that this doesn't happen. But Blair White is providing a faux answer, one that seems a little bit easier, which is like, actually just align yourself and constrain yourself and see if you can occupy a little seat in the corner of the room, not as a full actual invitee, right? You're just taking up a spot that really has not been offered to you, and the moment more space is needed, you're going to be the first one ejected. But that's quite literally what I categorize that under. And it's the same thing too with like, I don't know, I've talked about this before, but a lot of it's a conversation that I don't feel like people are ready for sometimes, because it can be encountered the wrong way. But when it comes to, say, black MAGA voters, as we were talking about earlier, a lot of the things that they are citing, some of those things are not untrue, actually. Like, for example, the Democratic Party and its racism. Now, is that a reason to go turn around and align yourself with people who are even more overtly racist? No, once again, that's a faux solution to a problem that you don't want to experience. That's not the real answer, and you know that, right? But again, there's something alluring about being able to identify this quote unquote easy way out, is what I feel like this is for a lot of people. But yeah, no, like I hate all of this for us. I really, 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 really do. Someone said the stream good as hell. We're just getting spicy, bro. I don't know why. I really, really don't. Someone said tokens get spent. Exactly. At the end of the day, you could be a token all you want, but when it comes time to cash out, you're gonna go. That's how I feel. Truly. Truly. It's just literally, someone said go further left. That's the right answer, by the way. If you're ever bothered by anything that's happening on the supposed left, just go further left. When I was younger and I was an idiot centrist, my mistake was to go further right, because I can't stress this enough. I was an idiot. I was very woefully misinformed. It was really bad. I wasn't proud of it. I just wasn't aware of it, right? But then, of course, you do a little bit more research and you realize, as counterintuitive as it seems, you can actually just keep going further left. And then you might see that some of these problems are actually not a leftism problem. They're an American liberalism problem, right? Because that thing that we call American liberalism isn't leftism in the first place, would not be considered to be that in almost any other place, really. And if we took global policy and made a little chart and we put our two parties there, they would both be on the right, honestly. They really would. So yeah, I don't know. It's all very complex, but it's also not that complex. It's not so complex that I have sympathy for people who are just making the wrong choice and aligning themselves with the bad guys. That's how I feel. Someone said reading theory is important. Okay, let me tell you what's more important than reading theory. I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm just saying this as a PSA. You know what's even more important than reading theory? Knowing what words mean at all. I feel like I wound up getting to the theory portion not very well. I don't read enough. But before even that, I really think people just need to start by make sure you actually know what socialism is before you're railing against this. Because so many of the people railing against it don't know what it is. And when socialism happens, they actually start clapping because they do support this ideologically. They just, from a vocabulary standpoint, have been lied to. And it's the same thing with like communism. Actually look into what that is instead of labeling everything cultural Marxism. Why don't you see what Marx was saying and then go ahead and look at the way you view the world and the elites and class, and you will realize like that's a pretty rational conclusion to draw actually as an alternative to capitalism. Look into what capitalism is, because it doesn't just mean everybody gets to make as much money as they can as long as you work harder than everybody else. That's not what capitalism is. It is 100% dependent on the majority actually being oppressed, which is us as the non-billionaire class. That would be us. Like anarchism. Look that one up. It's not Mad Max. So yeah, I think a big vocabulary session, like a Sesame Street style, this is what this thing means, that would solve a lot of this right off the bat. And then we would look at both of our parties being hyper capitalist, and all of the things that entails and all of these positions that they support, and we'd be like, oh wait, what? We need an actual alternative to this. But that's, you who are saying to read theory are correct, obviously. I'm just saying baby steps as well, because I wasn't even in a position to listen to any of this, because I was like, why would I learn more about socialism when socialism is bad? Which I know is a very ignorant standpoint, but sadly that's how a lot of people feel. Ignorance is such a hard thing to combat when you don't know that you have it. Someone said feminism also, oh my god, bro. Thankfully I got in on that one early, but yes, I was taught essentially that feminism was one thing And I believed that, obviously. And then you realize very quickly, just by looking into what it is, that, like, oh, this just makes sense as a default. Equality between genders, period. Obviously, equality for women. And right now, the focus being on women's rights, etc., because that is what a patriarchal society is trying to strip away. But, like, this is in the name of betterment for all of us. Also, by the way, though, one thing I want to say, one thing I want to be cognizant of, we do have a tendency to be like, oh, or I know I do, this is a habit I have, of like, these things are good for all of us. These things are good for all of us. I would like to also stress, it should totally be enough that something is just good for a smaller group of people. Not that women are a smaller group of people, but a smaller group of people, and you should support it anyway. I think, like, it can be helpful, obviously, and I think it's important to point out from an intersectional standpoint, hey, look at how these issues wind up affecting things not just for women, but for men as well, boys, girls, etc. That's all good and well, but honestly, even if there was literally no material benefit towards this, we should probably still just be doing it. And I feel the same way about, like, I hope I said it in my last video about Sophie Cunningham when I was talking about, like, transphobia being so horrible and a lot of it falling back on women who also aren't even trans. But, like, even if that wasn't true, it's enough that transphobia affects trans people that you should just not want this to happen anyway. We shouldn't also need to insulate ourselves as well. Now, I still think it's very important to talk about because it's easier to identify when and why it's happening. But yeah, even if at the end of the day there was genuinely just like one person in a room of 100 people saying, hey, the majority, 99 people are hurting me right now because things have been set up in an unfair way, I think you should just change it. And that seems to be the core empathy difference between what I consider to be leftism and rightism. There are people who genuinely believe there's 100 people in the room. One person says, hey, this thing isn't working out because things aren't set up fair. And you just say, well, tough luck. Oh, well, work harder. And it's like, that's not how that works. And it requires so much cognitive dissonance for you to frame inequality as equality. You have to ignore history. You have to ignore all of these things. That's why people are against DEI. That's why, because DEI actually is a solution. It's an acknowledgement that things are not, in fact, currently equal. Sorry, I don't know why I'm ranting, but I guess I'm already here. Like, it's almost like people don't seem to realize that the end goal of any sort of DEI initiative is that we would not need a DEI initiative. Right? It's kind of like when I'm running and I do something stupid and I mess up my knee and I start going to physical therapy, the goal every single time that I am in PT is for me to not have to go to PT. I don't want to have to go to physical therapy because that's not a thing that I should have to do to work normally. And that's how I feel about DEI. Everybody's crying about, not everybody, I don't think we care, but everybody's crying about this being a bad thing. You're acting as if I want this to be the state of the world. It would actually be nice to not be politicized or disadvantaged in any way to where we weren't having to literally go back and accommodate for how structurally unsound everything is when it comes to people having equal opportunities. And it's like, do people who are against DEI not know this? Do they not know that? I don't know. I'm just gonna cry. Someone said this comforts me to hear someone else understands DEI. Yeah, no, like I've been a benefactor of that. I guess technically you could maybe look at me going to school, college back in 2014, and those scholarships I was getting, that was pretty much DEI. And I'm glad it happened. I would have had, quite literally, no other way of going to school if not for these initiatives, and that shouldn't be the case. But as long as that is the case and we can help people in this way, you should. I don't know, man. It is what it is. Let's talk about BTS. I'm gonna pull open my stuff right now. Pulling open my second monitor. Gonna drink some water. Let's get into it, man. Someone said I need American leftists to be more anti-imperialists. Hard to do when you're taught from age 4 that we were the good guys during Thanksgiving. I agree with you absolutely. All right, let's see. You're right about that one. Okay, I'm skipping all of this. I got to tone down the spice though, because this is not a good attitude to go into a video about BTS with. People are gonna get mad. Okay, wait, my monitor's acting weird. No, it's not acting weird. Okay, so let me open the projection settings. Someone said, me and my dog love your channel. Well, thank you and your dog for watching. That's lovely. Okay, uh-oh. You and your dog send me some good vibes because my second monitor isn't working right now. It's okay. I might have to just stream from a single monitor, which would not be the end of the world. Truly, truly would not. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, everybody. Someone said we need a palate cleanser. Uh-oh. We're gonna need a palate cleanser after because I think things are about to get even heavier. Say hello. Say hello, and I'm gonna hit record. 1, 2, 3, go. I hit record. All right. Let's do this intro. Let's do this intro. Well, that didn't last long. BTS's string of honestly amazing publicity after their recent Grammys boycott has currently ground to a halt because everybody, not just their detractors, but their actual fans, seem to be crashing out online over what I can only describe as baffling decisions coming from the bands that seem to low-key fly in the face of everything that they've been supporting this entire time. If that sounds like I'm exaggerating, I'm here to tell you about the BTS Chris Brown AI Gemini debacle that has occurred over the past week, and how I genuinely think this is the first time I have ever seen ARMY, BTS's fan base, as a majority agree that the band is wrong about this in a way that is so loud. I'm sure like ARMY historian number 52349 will give me a list of all the times this has happened. But hey, I'm an outsider, so this is my best take on this. All right. We've got that. Let's just launch into it. Why lie and act like you need me to explain who BTS is? It's BTS. All right, pulling this over right now. One thing that I want to say is, God, sorry, I need to not think about the future. I need to only think about the present as I'm streaming. I need to think about the present. BTS has unironically gotten away with a lot. I don't think the fact that they have been targeted by a lot undermines that. For example, there's a few controversies that it is there's a few controversies that it's genuinely remarkable they've been able to bounce back from. Way back when, I'm talking over 10 years ago, there was the Holocaust memorial photo shoot plus the Nazi hat that one BTS member was filmed wearing. This is not like Photoshop or AI. Oh, my bad. This is not Photoshop or AI, by the way. These things did actually happen. And in the way of things, obviously, everybody from the fan base to BTS's actual management rallied together to say, this is not our boys' fault. They didn't do this. Big Hit said it took full responsibility for not providing the necessary and careful support to our artists that may have prevented these issues, adding that the band members were, quote unquote, in no way responsible for the controversy. There's always a reason, honestly, why whatever BTS is doing wrong is not BTS's fault. And because of that, I'm going to keep going. So I just want to say, if you came here looking for like a complete and total history of everything wrong that any BTS member has done, I can't even do that. There is literally a lot. If we could pull this one from the archives 12 years ago. Now, keep in mind, some of them were actually minors here, but this doesn't make this clip any cuter. I'm probably gonna have to turn the volume up a little bit. Da, 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 da. Yes, that's the members of BTS singing the N-word multiple times actually in this clip as they're dancing to, I think it's an A$AP Rocky song. I would have to look it up. I haven't heard this one in a while. On God, the band has had some problems, chats. 7 months ago, big hit. Maybe we should take this down? The fact that this video is still up gives me nightmares. We all know that they educated themselves, but big hit should still take this down because it's offensive. I think what I have to say about that is the long-running debate between what is actually the choice of BTS versus what is the choice of their management. It's been going on for as long as the band has existed. I'm just here to say they are grown men. I don't think this is something the average, like, sane army would disagree with. And maybe this is like my own internal ageism or something. But as somebody who is technically old enough to be within BTS, I have less and less sympathy for this the more time passes. Because these men are literally 30. I'm not here again, once again, like, to go through everything, because I feel like I would immediately get a lot of pushback of like, oh, well, this thing was actually the label and this thing was that. So these recent decisions, I just don't think any of these excuses are going to cut it, honestly. Pulling this right here. So we'll start with the Gemini AI thing. Here we have on the Vegas sphere Google Gemini X BTS. No, this is not a PR nightmare conjured up by some deranged anti-fan. This is on God. BTS and Google Gemini tease a new AI collab on the Las Vegas sphere about 2 days ago. Using chat-style curiosity and cultural imagery to frame AI as a creative companion. What are we doing here? Seeing BTS visuals take over a public landmark is the kind of pop culture flex that fans treat like an event, not an ad. I'm sorry to say this was definitely also written by AI, but fans were definitely treating it as an event, one to melt down over. Pulling this right here. The ad itself, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble if I play it. Because it has like a lot of copyrighted music in it, but it's basically exactly that, where we see the members of BTS looking cool as hell, as they tend to do, and then they show us a bunch of instances where they're using Gemini AI to do all of these things, from, I don't know, translation services to will our message get lost in translation, to like find me spots to go visit with my mom or whatever. And I have to say, it's just not a good look. I think I've seen a lot of like, oh, well, you know, everybody has different takes on AI and this, that, the other. I fear that when you are a group that has so passionately promoted your own creativity, making an ad and where you're like, yeah, AI translation, yeah, AI inspiring ideas for me to write music about, obviously just looks crazy as hell. And it's literally just all 7 members of them teaming up for, or all 7 members of the band teaming up for this, which is just not a great look. I like this one comment right here that says, this is insanely bad, and even worse after reading the comments. If only this person knew what was about to happen just a few hours later. Zoom out. Okay, pulling this right here. And one thing that I appreciated, I know it's fun to like dunk on K-pop fans. I saw someone in chat say, there are sane armies, but like, dude, BTS's fan base is literally enormous. There's going to be a bunch of people in there who are just normal people who enjoy music and have their own opinions that may not align with the band members. And so I kind of appreciated even like actual fan accounts saying things like, if a cool ad is enough to get you guys to overlook that the products they are advertising is on track to destroy the planet, then I don't even know what to tell you. No, it's not useful. No, Google Gemini can't and won't be used for good. I hate this. Hashtag Army Against AI. And they didn't get jumped. They did not get jumped. And the replies, a lot of people were agreeing with this. I don't feel like this is coming from a place of like wanting to hate the band or being unfair. It's literally just, why? What are we doing here? Just to suffer. I like this comment right here that I pulled from a pro BTS subreddit. We ain't snarking over here. I've been in Army for damn near a decade, and I've spent thousands of dollars this year alone on travel, lodging, merch, albums, and tickets to see them on tour. Being called a fake fan or a hater for pointing out how ridiculous their endorsement of AI is laughable. As big a fan as I am, I refuse to be a yes man and blindly follow them in everything they do. They're human beings like us. Whoa! Join the most real place on the internet? What? I don't want... Reddit, leave me alone! Okay. I refuse to be a yes man and follow them blindly in everything they do. They're human beings like us. They're imperfect and fallible, and sometimes they make critical missteps. It's inherently putting them on a pedestal to treat them like gods who can never be wrong and unanimously agree with everything they do, regardless of the moral and ethical integrity behind it. I feel like we're perfectly allowed to criticize anyone and everyone, especially our faves, for promoting products that actively damage and threaten artistic integrity, job security, and the environment. Respectfully criticizing someone's actions does not equal... Okay, I keep getting booted out of Reddit for not having an account, but you get the gist, and I agree with them, obviously. So yeah, don't go off of this video and tell your friends that BTS's fans are doing what people may associate them with. That's not really happening. Yes, obviously there are people in the fan base doing this, but this has been refreshing to see. Pulling this right here. There were actually a few posts on there that I liked. Someone said, I hate seeing any creative promote AI. And one thing that I appreciated was people saying like, I literally have to use this for my job. Unfortunately, BTS literally does not. And so when you have a choice, why choose the plagiarism machine? Which feels to me like very, very fair pushback and criticism. The same I would have for anybody else, obviously. Okay, here. Yeah, like... I'm pushed to use AI in my job since it's now part of our annual performance evaluation to the point that I'm sick of it, and now BTS is even endorsing it. I won't use this, which has damaged our environment, made millions jobless, if only I could, but they're not cash-strapped and desperate like I am, so why are they endorsing this? And we could get into a whole host of reasons for why, but it's just, I agree with everyone saying essentially that they shouldn't. What some people were pointing out is this does genuinely seem to be cognitive dissonance when it comes to BTS's own stance on authenticity and creativity. I mean, you've got lyrics from, was this RM? Yeah, you've got lyrics from RM's solo work talking about F the AI, actually, F the algorithm. Pulling this right here. Okay, Suga from BTS saying we don't use these tools. I mean, actually, he said, it's like the Industrial Revolution, where there was this huge shift from horses to cars and trains. I don't feel negatively about this change. A lot of people are putting AI to use in the right way, but we don't use it. In the past, there used to be like 100 songwriters under one producer. Nowadays, you could say that there's an AI tool instead of all those songwriters. But the most important thing, whether you're working with human songwriters or AI, is you need to have a discerning eye to tell whether this piece of music is good. We can no longer reject this change because it's irreversible now. There it is. The capitulation. This is not a Suga from BTS specific issue. I get so annoyed from people who actually have the cultural influence and ability to reverse the tide on this whole widespread AI adoption, trying to convince me actually that there's nothing we can do. I feel like there will come a day where we just have to embrace what's happening. You literally don't have to embrace what's happening, especially when you have so much. I'm sorry, I'm dead. I'm dying. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Chat, would probably be my 7th video about AI if I stuck in this lane. So let me just move on from that. But yeah, personally, even as somebody who doesn't follow them that closely, even I am aware of their reputation as just very creative individuals. Last year, BTS's RM becomes first K-pop artist to deliver a keynote at Apex CEO Summit, urges investment in creative industries. He called on APEC to support creators worldwide. There are creators all around the world. Please help them. Give them the financial support so that their own creativity can bloom. Give them opportunities so their talents can really shine. Turning around and then immediately doing promo for Google's Gemini AI, which is happy to auto-generate and replace any of the people that RM or any BTS member is allegedly supporting, is hypocrisy, obviously. So that was sort of, I was going to get into all of that more. It was just when I started collecting these links and looking more into BTS's takes and why people were so mad about this. In the middle of this, the Chris Brown incident happened. And this literally blew up way far beyond this one thing. I don't think most people realized that this AI ad had happened, but I hate anytime Chris Brown comes up on the channel, because genuinely he unsettles me, and it disturbs something within me that somebody like this has been embraced so widely that he's still massively popular. But here I am on the infamous legal issues of Chris Brown Wikipedia page, where it covers everything from, unfortunately, his domestic violence against Rihanna, to all of the multiple times that he's been violent to other people, culminating most recently in this nightclub assault case. Literally 20 years of not just allegations, but actual provable incidents and issues. To the point where... pulling a date. Yeah, to the point where a couple weeks ago, he just pled guilty... He just pleaded guilty to another incident, a charge of affray after being accused of attacking a producer back in 2023. He's set to be sentenced in October. So Chris Brown, who his legal problems aren't even over due to all of his violence, abuse, etc., it's coming for him, but he's currently on tour, obviously trying to stockpile money before this happens. Pulling this right here. This is the person that BTS has aligned themselves with. And I'm not just talking about they were spotted in the same room as him, even though that in and of itself is pretty questionable. But yeah, Chris Brown posted, what was the date? 11 hours ago on his Instagram, a picture of him with 2 BTS members. Oh, wait, hold on. Chat, walk me through which 2 members this is. It's I don't want to try to answer. I don't want to try to answer. Somebody is smarter than me. Sorry, there's literally 7 dudes. There's literally 7 dudes in this band. Namjoon, J-Hope, RM and J-Hope. Thank you. Holy God. Sorry, there's literally like RM, J-Hope, Jungkook, V, oh God, Suga. Are there 2 other? Who are the 2 other members of BTS? Wait, I'm suffering. Okay, hold on. Wait. Don't tell me. I'm gonna take my glasses off. I can't see any of the comments. Gun to my head. Name all 7 members of BTS. It's RM. It's Suga. I know J-Hope. And V. Jungkook. Oh my God. Jin! There's somebody in BTS named Jin. Jin and... I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm putting my glasses back on. RM, J-Hope, Jim, Suga, Jimin, V. Jimin! Dude, I literally know that he's in there. I just forgot. Okay, I swear to God, I know Jimin. I don't know him as a person. I know that he's in BTS. 7 people. Come on. Sorry, I struggle a lot sometimes, even when I'm just talking about like 2 people in okay, anyways, I did my best. Absolutely. Someone said the way I'd be fighting for my life right now. It's okay. We got there. I would only get 6 out of 7. Don't say it. Oh my God. Please. Someone said, please don't edit this out. I'm editing the hell out of this. This is not going in the video. Nobody's gonna see me flub this. You know what I'm gonna put in the video? RM and J-Hope, the 2 members of BTS that he was pictured with. There you go. Anyways, okay, moving on from this. So stupid. Thank you for all of y'all help. No 6, 7, please. Moving on from that. Okay, then pulling this right here. Again, it's literally not just a picture that Chris Brown posted. He didn't just kidnap them and force them to post this. They were literally posting on their Instagram or on their social media accounts, tagging at Chris Brown official, getting hype, getting lit, some sort of song that I'm obviously not going to catch a copyright claim over. So you could imagine, obviously, that the AI thing being a problem just instantly got eclipsed by what the hell is 2 out of 7 members of BTS doing hanging out with Chris Brown. And then immediately people pointed out as well, someone said, how did they not know? We're going to talk about that in a second. Someone was like, oh, 2 out of 7, what about 4? Because Jungkook and wait, I wrote this down. Don't come for me. V. Because Jungkook and V, again, I can't really play this, we're out here, like, I think the day before, if I've got my dates right, on Instagram Live, just jamming out to Chris Brown. And I have so much disappointment when anybody collaborates or supports or platforms this man. Unfortunately, that includes artists who I actually genuinely appreciate and believe are skilled. I saw someone mention Chloe Bailey. Yes, hold on. Who are Chris Brown's recent collaborators? How do I find like a list of that? Chris Brown recent collaborators. I don't want Gemini AI answer. I'm going to put no AI. 18 of Chris Brown's biggest collaborations. Well, these are probably all old. These are probably all old. Oh, Usher right now, I know, he's on tour with the man. I have absolutely no respect for him over that. Reading chat. Someone said Chloe, no. Yeah, I got so disappointed. Someone said Leon Thomas. No! That's not true. That's not true. That's literally not true. That's not true. Bro. Not the Leon Thomas Chris Brown Mutt remake. I never even heard of this, actually. I love Leon Thomas. I think he's such a good musician, but this is such a bad choice. Anyway, sorry. And you know, some people, no, someone in chat said there's no excuse. There's literally no excuse short of you being held hostage and forced to do this, which gonna go back to that Instagram post. I don't know about you guys, it doesn't exactly look like anybody's being held hostage and forced to have all of this fun. Someone said that's actually so irritating. It's beyond upsetting, honestly. So also, before I get into the fan response to this, can I just like rant about Chris Brown shortly. I know I do this every time he's brought up, but he's literally not even that good. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's not an icon for the time that he was. I mean, right now, the man is lazy. The man is lazy. Pitchfork gave his album a 1.3 out of 10. To be fair, just because they validate my opinion in this one specific instance doesn't mean that I take Pitchfork seriously whatsoever. But it's convenient to point out they are correct in their assessment of the unnecessariness of this album. I don't even understand why he's still making music because it doesn't sound good. There's nothing behind it. If y'all are going to crash out and throw away my opinion of you, which obviously doesn't matter, why over this? This is embarrassing and sad. Someone said deserved. It's absolutely a deserved 1.3. But anyways, one thing that I see, again, most of the fan base is criticizing this, but I absolutely saw people saying like, oh, maybe they didn't know. And I'm like, okay, y'all gotta stop, bro. Y'all gotta stop. I'm pulling these random comments from a pro BTS. No, wait, this is not pro BTS, but it's not a Snark subreddit. I'm pulling these random comments from Reddit. Oh God, okay. I keep getting kicked out. Hold on, chat. Let me log into Reddit because I'm annoyed. Okay, hold on. I don't want to have to keep getting kicked out like this. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, yay. Fixed, easy peasy. This person right here said the excuse of quote unquote, they don't speak English and they're not educated, which I've seen a lot of people saying unironically, has always been so funny to me. You can ask an average pop music fan anywhere in the world and they would know. Not to mention they have an entire PR team with them who's supposed to inform them about these kinds of things. It seems they don't care because they know the cult will defend them no matter what. Someone said English isn't my main language and I'm not even a pop music fan per se, but I still knew about Chris Brown beating Rihanna and getting in several altercations and scandals like every other day since then. Dude has an entire Wikipedia section on his page just for his awful controversies. At the very least, they surely know he's a controversial person. And like, I have literally seen a debate of like, you have to be terminally online to know what Chris Brown's reputation is. And BTS, they're just not online like that. They're just appreciating this from a musical standpoint. And I'm like, I'm sorry. No. Guys, you literally absolutely cannot expect me to believe this. And I think I have two takes on this. This person right here said, I'm Korean and English is not my first language, but we still have access to the World Wide Web and we understand why some global celebrities are objectively horrible people. Please don't use them being Korean natives as an excuse. It's not an excuse. They're not 80-year-old grandpas who never left their village and don't know how a computer works. They repeatedly make conscious choices and decisions that reflect badly on their image. If they cared about learning and becoming decent adults, they would. I just want to say, honestly, am I the only one who finds this defense to be like low-key racist and xenophobic through its infantilization of grown, wise adults? They're not idiots. BTS has brains, 7 brains between them. And I just feel like treating them the same way they've always been treated in the beginning, like Big Hit, being like, oh my gosh, it's not their fault. It was our fault for allowing them to make this mistake. You still continuing to do this now with these dudes is pretty heinous. We really got to stop acting like there's some sort of magical creature that lives in a world that is not this one. Even if you yourself have not heard of Chris Brown, or you don't know about the things that he's done, that's fine. I'm not even suggesting that every person around the world knows what happened here. But here's the take I didn't see anybody say. You can't expect me to believe BTS follows Black culture closely enough to appropriate it at any given opportunity without knowing the reputations of the very people that they're idolizing. You can't do that. I will literally never, ever accept that as a possibility. That doesn't make any sense. And I would pretty much say the same thing for any K-pop act. I really hate this idea of when oh, K-pop fans are doing things. Sometimes they don't know about black culture, guys, and this is but sometimes they do know. Stop it. You listening to this? You know who these people are. So I had to get that off my chest because I don't think I have very many takes that are actually unique, but I've never seen anyone say that one. So let the record reflect. That's my stance on this. I know that they know because they follow us very closely. Yeah. Damn, this is going to be an interesting video. But anyways, let's just keep going. Truly. And it's not even only on Reddit or random spaces where people share their opinions on all kinds of groups where people were criticizing this. I saw all over Twitter, someone said, bring signs to the concert. I don't give an F. They need to learn. Like, this literally... These are people with 7s in their usernames, BTS member names in their actual handles. It's coming from way deep within the house at this point. BTS's fan base is just not putting up with this, man. Pulling this, hold on. Yeah, right here. Hold on, wait. It's wild when even on Weverse, people are talking about this. Namjoon, you've spoken many times about reading feminist books and learning about feminism, but feminism cannot just be something you read about, talk about, or use as part of your image. It has to mean something, even when it's uncomfortable and when there is nothing to gain from it. Seeing you and the members happily meeting, hugging, smiling with, and publicly promoting a man who assaulted a woman is deeply disturbing, especially when so many of the people who support you are women. Why is this covering this? I can't read it. Okay, go to the next post directly from here. I don't want to do that. God, I hate using all social media sites at this point, bro. Hold on. Okay, take two. Yeah, what's the point of reading feminist books if when faced with a real situation involving violence against a woman, you simply smile beside the man who committed it and celebrate meeting him? And then they talk a little bit about, like, we're not expecting perfection, but how could you not expect this kind of thing to get called out, obviously? And if you're wondering why I said it's a big deal that posts like this are trending on Weverse, it's because Weverse is owned by BTS's parent company. Actually, this is the social media. It's basically the BTS of social media. So if even there people are bringing this up and agreeing with it, obviously this was just a bad choice. Pulling this right here. Also, this is kind of shady. I don't have any proof of this, but I do find it really interesting that the person who posted this... Oh, wait, is this the person who posted it? Yeah. Said that Weverse was limiting comments on there. The post has now been restricted from receiving comments, but thankfully it can still be liked. I think the comments were restricted because the post was getting a lot of attention, and more importantly, a huge number of comments supporting this. I can't say without a doubt that this is being restricted, but it appears that way. Hold on, I'm pulling this right here. Some people were even saying, I can't even access this anymore. Did it get blocked or something? Your account's acting up. All of that is incredibly sus. And if that is the way it's being handled, that's terrible. That's not a great response whatsoever. It's not making it go away, clearly. And I guess the only social media platform I didn't really check was TikTok. I have no idea how they're responding to this, and I'm sorry. I just wanted a day without TikTok. Just a day without TikTok. But yes, even I'm on the Bangtan subreddit, and people are not rocking with this whatsoever, reposting the Weverse statement, agreeing with it. This is very eloquent and should be shared. People talking about their experiences, like either working with or being proximate to or experiencing domestic violence, etc. I just feel like hand waving this would just be so... like a reinforcement of why this is a problem in the first place. I don't want to do it. It's a big deal. You know that it's wrong. You're just choosing not to care. This would also be pretty hypocritical too. Hold on. Pulling this right here. This is, again, like going in the face of what BTS themselves are promoting. This is the very band who's telling us RM had BTS's lyrics looked over by a women's studies professor. During a Nightline interview, he says, I received a lot of criticism regarding misogyny in 2015 and 2016, which led me to get my lyrics reviewed by a women's studies professor. Which, like, I'm not laughing at the idea of doing this. I'm just baffled at the cognitive dissonance that would be required to go through this level of introspection and learning and then turn around and do this. BTS's evolution from crass sexism to considerate feminism, as this article points out, this has literally been part of their story the entire time, of them actually making an effort to create a more inclusive space for their fan base, which is predominantly women. So I feel like I understand why people are mad about this. It's upsetting. It's insane, actually. Someone said performative group final boss. And obviously I am talking about something that 4 members of BTS have done: J-Hope, RM, Jungkook, and V. But again, they were all in the AI ad, and this isn't even the only scenario that they've been criticized over. Pulling this right here, I think, like, again, more examples of things I can't really go into too much because it's hard for me to identify what is them and what is not. But just BTS having Diplo contributing to production on their album. Bad news, chat. The Are We Wrong track list reveals a significant creative partnership with chart-topping producer Diplo, who appears on 5 tracks. Diplo genuinely has to be one of the biggest creeps working in the industry right now. Not the kind of person you want doing any sort of work or association with you. Prosecutors, this is from 2021, are considering charging Diplo with sexual misconduct. Now, this investigation wound up getting dropped, but nothing was ever retracted. And this isn't the only time that he's been accused of this. It has literally plagued him this entire time. It says throughout the music producer's successful career, Diplo has been dogged by allegations of inappropriate relationships with young women, particularly young Black and brown women. And yes, this is true. People have literally come forward and say he's just out here literally grooming Black girls, grooming women of color. It says none of these allegations have been proven, of course. In 2017, he actually tweeted, I low-key sent my resume for the R. Kelly sex cult membership before deleting it 20 minutes later. Like, bad news. And so obviously it's a bad thing that somebody like this can turn around and use BTS to launder his image, which he's been going hard with. I guess this is probably the first time that everybody has not hated him for something, so he keeps posting cringe like, I'm grateful to be part of something this special, Army for Life. I think I saw literally 3 or 4 or 5 Diplo Instagram posts where he's like annoyingly photoshopping or probably AIing himself into these pictures. Also, why the helly is YouTube commenting on this? You did that, says the YouTube official Instagram account. I'm trying not to go to like a dark place with this because that's literally not the point. Forgive me holding the remote for my light. I'm trying not to go to a dark place with this because that's literally not the point of this stream. But like, y'all, like, none of this is serious to the people who matter. And it's so demoralizing. I genuinely, what am I supposed to do about the fact that nobody actually seems to care about grooming or domestic violence, intimate partner violence, pedophilia, all of the things that just get laughed about? R. Kelly, like, when I turn around and see things like this, it's hard for me not to think of this as like a collective joke to these people, obviously. And so that's, again, I feeling a lot of this backlash, understandably, of in a scenario in which we don't actually need, it's not a necessity to have Diplo in this equation. Why is he here? It's not right. I'm reading chat. Someone says that's why we care loudly. Yeah, no, I just it's frustrating. I don't know. I just keep saying I don't know. I don't think I've said the phrase I don't know so many times, if not in the past few months, couple years. I don't know. Things have been bad, obviously, but like, what am I supposed to do about this? Someone said, what happened? Go back about 38 minutes and you'll get the whole spiel from me. Pulling this right here. I think what this has turned into, you have to be careful with the next part of this video, because there's like a whole snark BTS industrial complex, which I'm really not here to get into. But this has honestly brought up like larger claims of there's just a lot of performative stuff going on here, that if BTS was not constantly making decisions in the name of seemingly profit, it would be a lot easier to take them at their word with these initiatives that matter. I think a recent example I saw people complaining about is like their continued partnership with McDonald's. And it's like, I guess we could sit here and say, oh, McDonald's BTS meal in 2026 doesn't really matter. But I think it really does matter, actually. They have been collaborating with McDonald's for years, to be fair. But recently, we know, and if you don't, I promise you anybody associated with making this meal knows, McDonald's is absolutely on the BDS boycott, divest, sanction list, where in solidarity with Palestine, we are being asked to boycott McDonald's. This is not uncommon knowledge. We know that there's a McDonald's boycott. Obviously, you can do the research yourself and understand why this is happening, why we are putting pressure on these brands like this. When people are working really hard to do this, why would you, one of the biggest bands in the world, turn around and continue to gleefully release Happy Meals where we can buy BTS toys with these very same companies? It's not the time to do that. It's performative. I think right here, like, their UNICEF ambassadorship, which they've done for a while, talking about like the goal of hashtag on my mind is to support the mental health of children. This is their partnership, young people and families, to advocate for the right of every child and young person to grow up in a safe and inclusive environment, protected from neglect, abuse, and poor mental health. These things are not consistent. They just don't add up. And so what I'm getting at here is, like, when I initially went into this, obviously, it was from a standpoint of surprise of like, this is weird that they would do this AI thing, because that doesn't seem to align with the things that they talk about. This is weird that they are getting sturdy to Chris Brown. That doesn't seem to. Unfortunately, this is a thing with BTS. And pulling this right here. This is the part that I debated not putting in the video, but I'm going to put it in the video because I practiced and I think I'm going to get this point across well. An initiative like this, when this is the same band who will do things like take a gig in Saudi Arabia, which immediately raises a lot of questions, comments, and concerns. This would have been back in 2019. I don't know where I had a highlight for this. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, it says right here. The band had been invited to play in the country by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who, you may ask, pulling this right here. Quite literally the dude who is having journalists assassinated for trying to speak out about the human rights abuses, the long-running human rights abuses committed in this region. And here's something that I want to be really careful about. I do believe that people have a tendency to focus on other countries being bad and completely act like yours is fine. Me here as an American, I also feel pretty darn critical of BTS showing up at like the FIFA US World Cup. And like I just there's actually so many countries I think we could stand to boycotts, or rather like try to send a message to, not align ourselves with. But I'm not here to like really point fingers so much as saying, and you can correct me if this is a crazy take, maybe if the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia invites you to perform, say no. That's what I'm getting at here. Let's see. Pulling this right here. Like, we could get into it about the United States also having our own page where we document all of our horrific human rights abuses, the actual country itself being founded on it. It's unfortunately not a unique scenario. I just think, again, when you have the opportunity to not do this, don't do it if you do not have to do it. That's kind of just what I'm getting at here. Blah, blah, blah. Someone said, looks at Dave Chappelle. Yeah, no, I couldn't help but think about this recent comedy special that they held there. It's like, these things, they do matter. Honestly, it's the Saudi government's using this comedy festival to deflect attention from its brutal repression of free speech and other pervasive human rights violations, etc. There's a lot of complexity, but also some things are pretty simple. Just maybe this is a terrible idea and doesn't seem to align with your brand. And I don't think that like the stuff that they're doing with UNICEF should be considered a brand anyway. If these are causes that you actually care about, you should move in a way that supports it. So sadly, I think there's two ways of looking at this Chris Brown / AI debacle as either being like a complete surprise, or something that is unfortunately consistent with the fact that it does seem like they talk a big game about wanting to do things, and they have done things that are great. But at the end of the day, when presented with a choice between right or wrong, you should be choosing right, obviously. Reading chat. Someone says it's wild that no one in their PR team has caught that. I think what it is, honestly, and this is the part where we're getting a little off script, I'm going to give a very subjective take. BTS's PR team, more than BTS themselves, I can't speak to what these 7 dudes are thinking. PR team is used to getting away with everything. I'm telling you that right now. BTS has a global team. They absolutely are up to date on these things, and they know that if BTS does this one thing, there's going to be a bunch of people saying, oh, that's a bad choice. If they do this other thing, there's going to be people saying this seems hypocritical. But what has happened all the way up until now is that every single time this happens, there were not actually enough people complaining about this for it to matter. Their PR team doesn't care. They know that BTS could do anything and it would be excused. So I think probably what this is going to be is like a reckoning for them. You can't just do this indefinitely. You can't turn around, say one thing, do something else for the 4th, 5th, 6th. Oh, I should not say 6 and the number that comes after it, or all my comments are going to say the same thing. But you get my point. I just feel like clearly the strat is not working. But if I had to like, I guess, condense all of this to a point, I do feel like even though there's a lot to be said about culture or complexity or geopolitical relations, I just pretty much liked this take. When you have like a woman dominated fan base, I think the least you can do is not attend a famously known abuser's concert, man. I don't know. And I would say the same whether you have a majority female audience or not. Nobody should really be doing this, but maybe especially not BTS. I don't know, man. But yeah, I was just fascinated by the amount of criticism and discussion I've seen about this, because I think this is the first time I've noticed what's the word I'm looking for? Dissonance, I suppose, between what BTS claims to represent and some of their actions. It's interesting. I don't know. That's really all I've got. Does anybody have anything else that they want to say before I wrap this? Someone said performative feminism. There's another layer of complexity that I want to add to this, actually. And I'm not putting this in the video because I think people's heads are going to explode. Will you sit with me through, will you literally sit with me through like, oh, wait, hold on. Someone said there's a lot of slander going on here. How about bringing up all the good things they've done? Let's hear about what you've done with your 725,000 subscribers. Nothing. Really, like this is so funny. I don't know how to explain this. I'm not the most popular boy band in the world. Right? I obviously I think I have responsibility for sure, but like on God, BTS, I am intentionally holding them to a different standard than everybody else. If you're like, oh, this is giving double standard. Yes, there's going to be a double standard where you're a collective of the 7 most culturally dominant people who are currently, well, dominating the culture. I'm sorry, that was funny. Usually I don't be highlighting comments like that, but I'm just like, what was I supposed to do? I'm not BTS. I'm not the secret 8th member. I probably could be. No. I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it. But yeah, what? Girl, come on. Anyways, moving on from that. What have I done? I don't know. I'm not BTS. What do I have to do? I'm trying not to be terrible. Actually, wait. It's really funny. It's really, really, really funny, low key, that I get this comment, because what I was actually about to do was I was going to show you the full list. The full, or not the full, but a more inclusive BDS list, right? So obviously, I'm here criticizing their association with McDonald's because, duh, that's insane to do. But you know what really, 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 really sucks, though? Look where I'm doing this. Look at the platform where I have however 700,000 subscribers and where we're all chatting and making money. If this is my job, then this means Google's making money too. I think like throughout doing this, I've seen a lot of discourse about, well, don't we all kind of have to make choices that are quote unquote unethical? Which, by the way, I don't believe any person is operating at max morality. I know I'm not. And I just feel like in a society in which, unfortunately, there's no ethical way of doing anything, maybe we should just do as little harm as we can, which I don't feel like is uniquely unfair to BTS. In a world in which, sadly, we do find ourselves using or supporting a lot of these things, but we don't actually have to release these Happy Meals. We don't actually have to promote Google Gemini AI. Just don't do that. There are enough agents of harm, I feel like, who are actively doing this. So it's not even about I need BTS to be perfect and never do anything wrong. That's insane. And that's not possible to do unless you're Jesus, I guess. But like, bro, don't do that. What are y'all doing? And I might even put that in the video, honestly. I really, really might. But yeah, I hate the world, I think. I think I hate everything. It's a little hard not to hate yourself sometimes, I fear. I won't lie. But alas, what can you really do? Oh man, someone said, did we bring up the Chris Brown stuff yet? Yes, we did. I talked all about that. It was a mess. Reading chat. Someone said I hate capitalism. Yeah, I guess that's where my hate should be directed, not necessarily at me, but like, bro, I don't know. I I don't know. Someone said don't hate everything. I don't hate everything. I love a lot of things. I just also hate so many things simultaneously. I wish it was easier. I guess what I'm trying to say is I wish it was easier to be a good person. Does that make sense? I wish like making the right choice was something that you could do in a way that came naturally. But unfortunately, that's just not how the cards are set up. That's really not. Someone said Diplo was mentioned. Yeah, we mentioned Diplo. We mentioned the Gemini AI. We mentioned the Chris Brown concert. I talked a little bit about their UNICEF stuff. We mentioned Saudi Arabia concert years ago, World Cup performance, etc. I did not get into every single controversy that BTS has ever done because that's not the point of this video. Just more so the hypocrisy that people are pointing out. Reading chat. Someone says it's really hard to love things in the current state of everything. Yeah, no, man. Anyways, I'm gonna record an outro. Someone said it's like when Jay-Z had brand deals with Target. Literally, like you don't have to do this. Let me record an outro first, unless you feel like there's anything that I've missed. Oh, people are talking about them whitewashing Howard University. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that, but I think I did say in the beginning, there's a lot that we could get into with BTS, and this is more so just focusing on the last week in BTS news because there's been a lot. But everybody say goodbye, please. Someone said, will you upload? I'm going to put this video up. I think it was a little messy, and I had one or two hot takes. I think most of my takes in this were cold, but I think there's a few takes I'd be happy to put on my channel. Hopefully people understand where I'm coming from. Say goodbye. Don't leave yet. Excuse me. Someone said, to be fair, Jay-Z isn't a great guy. Well, yeah, Jay-Z low-key is a pretty bad role model and person in general. I would have to agree with that. Okay, yeah, don't leave the chat. Just say goodbye so I can record an outro. Wrong button. Anyways, that's about all I have to say about BTS. Hopefully... Sorry, I'm just thinking about how this video is going to be received. I'm going to do a good job editing it. Anyway, that's all I have to say about BTS. I'm just going to try not to think about them from this point on. Hopefully you don't have to either. But yeah, I recorded this video live right here on YouTube, where I stream quite frequently Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless, of course, I don't, in which case I'm probably just, I don't know, sleeping. But yeah, hopefully I catch you in the next stream or the next video. And if not, that doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye. Okay. All right, no more buys. We've got it. I've got the footage. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like some people are obtuse. And here's what I mean about that. Yet you contribute to society. Images. I think a lot of this BTS discourse, it was the stuff I skipped over because it was just distracting, made me think of this meme right here, where somebody's like, we should improve society somewhat, and you've got Smarty Make Smarty Pants over here saying, yet you participate in society. Curious. I am very intelligent. And I felt a level of people missing the point, I think, with this BTS thing, which is like, I don't need 7 perfect paragons of morality, especially when I myself am doing plenty of things that suck, unfortunately. Just maybe slightly improve society by not platforming Chris Brown. Actually, I'm recording this. I think I'm gonna record this meme and put it in the video later tomorrow if I remember to, because this sums up my opinions on the matter more than anything. Someone said that's a good one. That this is how I feel really at the end of the day. But yeah, damn, bro, I don't know what it is about some of these topics, but I feel like the discussion went pretty well. I do feel like people were understanding where I was coming from. I don't think I was getting brigaded or anything like that, but well, it brings out the something in people where they're like, how dare you try to make things better? And I'm just like, but I want things to be better. Sorry that I'm also making them worse. It's the multiple things being true scenario. And when my mental health is really bad, I start, what's the word I'm looking for? Like catastrophizing, and start thinking to myself like, oh, the best thing I could do right now would be to Well, I have really dark thoughts about my place in society, but when my mental health is neutral, you know what I just tell myself? Be this guy, not this guy. That's it. I can't be perfect, but that doesn't mean I have to be as smarmy and as possible and to try to shut down people who are trying to make things more perfect. It really, really doesn't. But yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a ride. The amount of crazy takes that I have read just in me trying to gather enough stuff to talk about in today's video. Bonkers, bro, bonkers. Someone said it's upsetting how late people caught up to BTS's behavior. To be fair, I just don't follow them like that. I think I talked about them a long time ago. Actually, I want to go back and look at those videos, even though I'm very scared to. D'Angelo Wallace. No, wait, hold on. I'll just go to my other YouTube channel at D'Angelo Wallace again. Or I say my other channel as if I don't have multiple other channels. This is my channel that has 2 million subscribers that I abandoned accidentally. Oh, here it is. I listened to the new BTS album even though I don't like BTS. Oh my god. Times were so much simpler back then. Here I am wearing a denim long sleeve with a denim pair of overalls and a denim hat, wearing clear glasses, which funnily enough look very similar to the ones I'm wearing now. They're not the same ones, but I wound up looping back around. And yeah, this was just a 19-minute review of BTS's album. I don't remember. Oh, Map of the Soul 7. Yeah, it was really fun. I put a lot of work into this video, even though it's so short and it doesn't seem to have much going on. I literally I read all of the lyrics from multiple translation sources. I literally took 3 different translations and then transliterated them into one thing for each of these. And I went and anytime a member was singing, I think, if I remember correctly, I put the lyrics on screen just to help myself because BTS has so many members and to help the people watching. And so I was like, oh, okay, so these parts are J-Hope and these parts are RM and here's a Halsey collaboration. Here's Suga doing things like that. It was a really, really good video. 24,000 comments. Okay, I don't really think it needed... Wait, how many views does this have? It only has 1.2 million views, but it has 24k comments. Very abnormal. Someone says the fact. Look, I'm really, 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 really proud of this comment. The fact that a YouTuber that doesn't even like BTS does his research better than interviewers coming from somebody who I think was a BTS fan. I ate that video up. I went online and said, hey, I actually don't rock with this at all, in a way that was respectful enough to not get clocked by our... I mean, to be fair, there were still absolutely unhinged people reacting in very strange death threat-y ways. I know I'm doing the thing where I'm like, I got death threats. Of course I got death threats by saying I don't like BTS. You could get them too. Go find out. Don't find out. But literally 95% of people reacting were so calm and lovely about this. But to be honest, I didn't really think about them again because I think they disappeared off the face of the earth. They literally vanished because I think they were doing compulsory military service or something. So that's mostly why I have been blissfully unaware of them. I had one other video on another channel, not this one or this one, but the third one, which was actually my first one. But yeah, no, I don't know. There's so many things. Someone said the beige filter. Yeah, my color grading in this era, I didn't honestly know what I was doing literally at all. And I still don't, but I like what I'm doing now better. My quality has certainly gotten much, much more interesting. But yeah, how old would I have been at this point? 22, I guess. Damn, bro. No, I would have been 21. Yeah, I was 21. A very young looking 21-year-old. And now I'm here coming to you live at 28. And you know what really sucks? You know what really sucks? Even though it's a good thing, I have to remind myself it's a good thing. At 21, I think the extent of my opinion on BTS was they are a popular band and they make good music, but I don't like all of it. And now in 2026, you get a whole stream where I'm just like, let's talk about performative activism and BTS's cultural relevance and choice to platform multiple causes that are not only detrimental to society, but actually fly in the face of the very things they pretend to like support. I don't know what happened. I used to be dumber, for sure. I was absolutely dumber, and I don't think I'm smarter now. That's the problem. I don't know if that makes any sense. When I was 21, I'm positive that I was a dumber individual. But now that I'm 27, going on 28 in 3 weeks, I don't even feel like I'm smarter. I just feel less dumb. And it's tiring. It makes me tired. Someone said radicalized. I did. I've been radical. Raise your hand if you've been radicalized politically, because I actually have. I've actually genuinely been radicalized, like in a good way. Like I literally unironically see politics everywhere, and also I would totally support revolution in any form that it took that was productive for society. Ultimately is how I feel. I've been radicalized. If you asked me in 2020, D'Angelo, what are your political opinions? I'd be like, I don't have those. D'Angelo, what do you think about the idea of like a revolution? I'd be like, that sounds violent. I don't want that to happen. But oops, I learned some things about myself and the world, and now I have different answers. If you ask me, D'Angelo, what are your political opinions? I'd say, how long do you have? I could give you the short version, which is start with people. Or I could give you the long version, which will take a long time. And if you say, D'Angelo, how do you feel about the revolution? I would say, mind your own business. Don't worry about what I think about the idea of an uprising or a massive society-wide shift in the hierarchical structure that we're currently under. Don't worry about what I think about that. That's not relevant to this little YouTube discussion that we're having. Oh man, yeah, I got radicalized like a mofo. I really, really did. But I think I'm happy with that. I'm happy now being a political person. No, I'm not. But it's nicer than being ignorant, I fear. It's nicer. Someone says sometimes I miss being ignorant and childish, though. You just got to get, well, not you, but I'm telling you what I did. You just got to get better at compartmentalization. Because at the end of the day, there's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? You can't devote 24 hours out of a 24-hour day to thinking about things in this way. Because when I turn this camera off and then I crash and I just want to watch something on TV, I'm not thinking about what the ramifications are. I turn my brain on and off like a light switch. I literally do this. Okay, now I'm stupid, D'Angelo, and I don't think I'm helping make the world a better place right now, but I'm recharging. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm great, D'Angelo. Let's talk about it. Let's get down and dirty. Let's really get into it. Let's have difficult conversations. Let's be nuanced. And then I need a little bit of offline time. I'm like, okay, this D'Angelo is not very cute. You're not going to get anything from this guy. I'm just like, bleh. So that is essentially how I handle trying to be a more political person. I can't be well-lit D'Angelo all the time. Sometimes I'm cast in shadows that make me seem, well, not very bright. And what can I do? Someone said this is genuinely really helpful. It helps me because I try to stare into the light all the time, and what happens? Can't see nothing. But going back and forth and trying to conserve and think about it, because here's the thing, there's times when I have the light on and it's not even helping anybody. It's something I realized. There's times where I was feeling and acting very politically angry, as I should. But it was directed in spaces that it was just me spiraling, and I was confusing it for educating myself. So really trying to see like, oh, hold on a second, I'm in the dark right now already. And I can wait until it's more prudent for me to like put my energy here. I just stockpile it. I write it down on my notes app, and I'm like, oh, I should probably get mad about this later. And then I do. Maybe other people are better at not having to do things that way, but you got to do what works for you, bro. You really do. Someone said this kind of mentality is honestly required. Yeah, I don't know what I would be doing without this at this point. I really, really don't. But yeah, shout out young D'Angelo. I won't say baby D'Angelo. I mean, I was an entire grown man at this point, but the person on which all of my progress as a human was founded is this person. Isn't that baffling, actually? Like, when you really think about it. I mean, to be clear, when I say this person, this is still me. I wasn't a different person in 2020. If anything, I haven't become less like the way I was. I've become even more me than I was back then. But, like, I've had such conflicted feelings on this version of me from this time period over the years, and I finally only recently, through the help of therapy, landed on, without this version of me, love him or hate him, there wouldn't be this version of me, really. So the only way it makes sense to respond to this is with love. It doesn't make sense. I think I had so much hatred. Oh, just wanting to strangle. You ever just want to strangle your younger self and be like, wow, you actually but I've been reminded that actually, if you really think about it, think about how hard this version of you wanted to be who you actually are today. Now I'm much different in many ways, and I would have been happier if I could have just shortcut my way here, but I couldn't. All of this nonsense had to happen first. So nothing but love for idiot D'Angelo from 2020. It is what it is. Someone said we're all embarrassed by ourselves at 22. You should be. I hope, unless maybe you've got your ish together. Maybe you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, D'Angelo. I'm set, but I'll just speak for myself. I'm embarrassed every single day. It's annoying and cringe. Someone said young D'Angelo used BTS and Map of the Soul for views back then. I was using anything and everything for views, and still do. But thankfully, I've gotten a little luckier now, where I can talk about things even if they're not like super popping. But back then, I was like, okay, what's the biggest possible thing? I'm launching this YouTube career at any cost. But yeah, nowadays, sometimes I will see popular things happen and just not talk about them because they bother me. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I will always say, did we need the first Tyler Catastrophe video? Maybe. I'm not still entirely convinced we needed a video about this dude. Did we need the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and onward Tyler Catastrophe videos? I don't think so. But did we need Tyler Catastrophe video number 10 through infinity? No. And so when I looked into all of this and I was like, wow, I know I could get some views right now talking about this person, but I don't want to. It was nice to not be able to do that because I've grinded throughout my YouTube career. I'm not like, oh, I got to get views. I have to. Oh, thank God. You guys are so nice that you pretty much watch most of it, or even if you don't watch every video, you look out for the ones you're interested in. And that happens frequently enough that every now and then I can afford to skip a popular topic, and I'm so grateful because I don't want to put my energy into this. Thank you. Someone said, as a trans mask who caught a lot of strays during this whole thing, thank you for not talking about Tyler Catastrophe. Well, what you know, as I'm sure you know, as a trans person, and what I know as a non-binary person, is this was unfortunately just like for channery masquerading in the mainstream, which should never have happened. I will, to the day I die, as if it's that serious, say what happened with Tyler Catastrophe was Kiwi Farm / 4chan levels of not snark, hate. That really people are like this about trans people online all the time, and it is specifically because they are trans. They literally seek them out. They seek out people like this who do wrong, bad things and are this way, and they will just follow every single little thing that they're doing, and they will dox them and this, that, the other. All of this was happening to Tyler, and the fact that I don't know why no one seemed to put together the pieces that this was the best thing that could have happened for all of his like detractors and weirdos on like snark pages and Kiwi Farms and 4chan and all this stuff. I just felt so icky. I felt so bad about that. I really, really, really did. So I missed this story and I'm glad. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. Not every person who does wrong things needs to be called out. I know that sounds crazy from the dude who puts up 14 videos a month. It is genuinely possible to achieve nothing by talking about a story, and that's what I feel like was happening beyond a certain point. It's just so cringe. Someone said, what's the next live stream topic? I'm between topics. I'll float a topic for you. I'm thinking about talking about Harry Potter. But here's the thing, chat. We have had some absolute doozies recently. I think the videos have been good, for sure. I'm really happy, actually, for the most part, with how I've been presenting myself. I just don't even really know if I want the smoke. But if I get brave enough, I think what I saw right here, this just annoyed me so much. Nicholas Hoult just joined the cast of Harry Potter season 2, because you know they're doing a whole TV show now, as Lockhart, which is obviously good casting, duh. But there was something about seeing this man's face, and I was just like, I was actually disgusted. not the way he looked. I just like, he didn't need to do this. I think no one who was involved in this Harry Potter show needs this paycheck. Not a single person. And I'm annoyed at Nicholas Hoult. I'm annoyed at every single adult actor who is involved in this publication. I do genuinely understand why people are reacting to this the way that they are. Someone said, find a different show. Why are we still funding this rampant transphobe? I think the thing is too, like, we want to have all these conversations about separating art from the artist, which y'all know my stance. If you've watched enough of my content, you don't have the ability, you don't have the power to separate the art from the artist as a consumer. If you are somebody who is actually putting money in this person's pocket, you can't separate the art from the artist. But I feel like when it comes to the Harry Potter discourse, sometimes I sadly feel as though I'm just spinning my wheels or going in circles because I don't know how to convince people that they should care. That's the thing. Like right here, what was the game called? Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, this was so annoying. Oh my god. Okay, so Hogwarts Legacy is a video game based off of the Harry Potter franchise. Yet another thing that in purchasing, you were going to be putting money directly into J.K. Rowling's pockets, which she was going to turn around and literally used for anti-trans lobbying, which directly results in laws that are blocking or taking away rights from or otherwise discriminating against trans people in her home country. This is what everybody was doing with this game, but because everybody is just so nostalgic They want to activate super cognitive dissonance and tell me, no, it doesn't matter and it's not that big of a deal. And so seeing the way people reacted to Hogwarts Legacy, when was that, by the way? Was that like last year? Oh, 2023. God, I didn't realize I've been tired about this topic for years. That's the kind of thing that makes me not even want to talk about Harry Potter. Does that make sense? I know that sounds like me giving up, but I really, really, really got to make this clear. Like, me as an actual non-binary person, which, by the way, J.K. Rowling has spoke for all queer people, including non-binary person. Me as an ace person, and she's out here being ace-phobic and all this stuff. I literally just, I feel like I was asked to learn my lesson, and so I did. And I know this just sounds like defeatism or like a really dramatic conclusion, but I feel like what society was saying with this is like, we don't care. So I'm just kind of like, okay, what am I, then what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, what? Great. Thanks for that info, I guess. Obviously, I'm going to continue fighting in the ways that I literally can, but I literally can't fight this when everybody made their stance on this so obvious. So that's how I'm feeling the same way with the show. And I see a lot of people say too, like, people online who are criticizing the Harry Potter show are being delusional. Obviously, this entire show is going to be big. Everybody's thinking that if you're loud enough about J.K. Rowling's transphobia, then the show is not going to do well. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that. I've literally not encountered a single person, a single trans person, a single person speaking out against this who thinks that if they are loud enough about why this is all a pretty bad message to send, it's not going to work. I think what people have been screaming from day one is like, it's actually bad that this is going to be popular. I know that the Harry Potter HBO show is going to be the biggest show of probably since Game of Thrones. I'm aware. I just think it's a bad thing. I'm not like delusional. I'm not living in some pseudo internet world where nobody actually really cares, I guess. I know that nobody cares, and it frustrates me, and it makes me, I don't know. So that's how I feel about this, where like maybe if I can grit my teeth through writing an outline about this and trying to make my point, but like I'm genuinely gonna have people like arguing with me about this, and I'm just like, can you? I get tired so much faster when I feel like people are arguing against my actual existence. And maybe the level of cognitive dissonance required to slot financial support of J.K. Rowling under not arguing against the existence of other people, I'm unwilling to play that game, is how I feel. So yeah, I sadly feel like I've already made up my mind and everyone else has made up their mind, and I don't want another reminder of how people really feel when they're asked to do anything that is remotely uncomfortable for them, which also, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but you could literally just pirate it. I'm not even saying don't watch the show. I don't care if you watch the show. It's not that important to me. I just don't see why this has to be more money in the pockets of this person per se. It's just so tiring. Someone in chat said, I'm not sure why people think it's going to do so well. New adaptations of already established media have a pretty rough record, like even without the JKR stuff. Who's asking for this? To be fair, Harry Potter stays popping off. Like even Hogwarts Legacy, which is obviously a video game. Chat. I know you're asking in good faith, so I'm going to answer in good faith. The show is going to do well. Hogwarts Legacy, it says right here, sold over 12 million copies in 2 weeks and generated $850 million, becoming one of the best-selling video games of all time, selling 40 million copies and reaching $1 billion in revenue, and winding up on multiple year-end lists and award nominations from the BAFTAs to the Grammys. So, sadly, this is how people are about Harry Potter. Like, it seems right now, like, where are these people going to come from? Oh, they're going to come. Well, wording D'Angelo. They're going to show up. Or they might do the other thing as well. Who knows? These people are really, really into Harry Potter, bro. And there are a lot of them. So I think whether the show does well or not, I'm trying to steel myself for the reality that, like, it's probably going to bang. It's probably going to go crazy, go stupid. And I'm going to try not to take that personally. Someone said, I see people with car stickers for Harry Potter all the time. People will always support it. Yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, I walked past somebody and they had a little license plate frame, and it said like something about like the Department of Muggles or whatever. Literally, chat. Random real life, just walking past Harry Potter license plate frames and people buying this game. And like, it's so popular. What about the Harry Potter theme park? Doesn't that do crazy? Let me see. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Yeah. They're just so... It's such an insane amount of money to be made off of Harry Potter fans at this point. And trust, the companies are going to find any and every way to make it. Someone said the local merch stock... the local merch shop is always stocked with Harry Potter stuff, and it pisses me off so much. Yeah, no, like, it's gonna do well. If it doesn't, I would be happy. But that would be very surprising to me and not consistent with my understanding of how this franchise performs commercially, unfortunately. As someone said 2 months ago, someone asked what Hogwarts house I was in, and I'm just like, bro. But that's okay. At the end of the day, I don't know. I feel a lot of things. That's how I feel. I feel a lot of things. I read a book, chat. I read a book. I tell you all about the books that I read usually, because they're fun conversation pieces. But I read a book that was so polarizing. I don't even know if I should mention it, but I'm going to, because why not get into it? So this was for an unnamed book club. I read Detransition Baby by Tori Peters, which is not a book about not a weird trans medicalist hyping up detransitioners, trans people are bad book. It's literally written by a trans woman, Tori Peters, and she's literally just portraying like 3 different characters, 2 of which are trans, 1 of which happened to detransition, but maybe was between stuff. It's not what it sounds like. It's actually fine. But yeah, I had like so many, as you can see, I literally finished this book yesterday. I had so many reactions to Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. So many. I can't even sit here and explain. I pressed the wrong button. Sit here and explain the amount of reactions I had. Someone said, I want to read this book. You should. If you want to read the book, read it. It's not something I would warn you off of. Someone said, how was it? It presents a very specific... Okay, no, I'm just going to say it. It was so white. It was very white. That doesn't make it bad. But it was, to borrow verbiage from a Goodreads review I saw, distractingly white in parts. First of all, do you know how far out of your way you have to go to create a story set in New York that is almost exclusively white people as a main cast. To be fair, one of the characters is an Asian woman, but like it was wild as hell how it kept kind of like sometimes bringing up, oh yeah, trans people of color exist too, but they're not in this book. So looking past that, I do see a lot there. There's a lot of interesting points in the book for sure. And once I kind of let go of whatever that was making me feel, I was able to glean some things from it. But yeah, I was just like, how do you even wind up in this scenario? I think one of the things that Tori Peters herself said that I understand is that she doesn't exactly feel like people are looking towards her, for a white woman, for that sort of trans POC representation, and that we should essentially basically be listening to, well, trans people of color writing books, not just her. And I totally agree with that. I just still don't understand how a book like this happens. I don't understand how a book like this happens. And then also, low key, this literally... Nah, we're already here, and I've talked about this before. This happens a lot sometimes in queer spaces, even lovely queer spaces full of lovely queer people, where like I show up like flashing all my pearly whites, and then I'm kind of like, oh, y'all meant white queer space. And then I reset. I like, and then my brain clicks into place, and I'm like, okay, I know how to operate in white queer spaces, and then I'm fine. And everybody's accepting and lovely, obviously. But I always, as a queer black person, I always have to do a mental reset of trying to figure out whether somebody means queer friendly space or queer white space. So that happened to me a little bit with this book, where I was like, yes, trans representation. And I opened it up and I'm like, oh, okay, one specific kind of representation. Someone said the first queer space I found was white AF. And I don't think it's something people are doing intentionally, obviously, but it's just something you got to be cognizant of. I fear, I really do. Reading chat. Someone says, I do sometimes feel like white creators say that they can't speak on the issue to absolve themselves of the need to portray POC. Yeah, I just don't be so afraid that you're like ignoring reality is how I feel. Because I'm not going to jump you. Or how about this? If you do include, like, say, black characters or themes or issues in your story, I may jump you, actually, in the spirit of openness and honesty. And you should be okay with that. That's how I feel. Like, this is not a related thing. I'm not trying to conflate like queerness with gender, for example. I'm just thinking about situations in myself where like I talk a lot about women and spaces where women congregate on my channel. And I know, honestly, if I do that wrong or I say something completely stupid, I'm going to get jumped. My audience demographics is like 86% people who don't identify as male. So yeah, I'm going to get whacked and it's not going to be cute for me, but I should be fine with that. And that's how I feel about all creators. Be more willing to just take a little bit of a beating. It happens every now and then. You say things and they're stupid and then you learn. That is a better option than just trying never to offend to the point where now all of a sudden you're not even including. You tried so hard not to offend me just now that you wrote me off. You like scissors snipped me out of the equation, because then you don't have to worry about offending me if you never acknowledge me. And now we have looped back around into the very kind of dissonance that I thought I was coming here to get away from. Is how I feel. I have complex feelings about that, but that's me. I also have another thing I want to say. I have another thing I want to say. Since we're here talking about this really specific issue, the character does this in the book, not the author. So I'm not blaming Tori Peters for this. I think she knew, obviously, this is a weird thing that people do. But at one point, the character says, same story, different minority, because she is talking to this Asian woman, a Chinese woman, I believe, mixed Chinese woman, who says something about her lived experience. And then this character says to herself, like, oh yeah, same story, different minority, because like I'm a trans white woman. Don't do that. I know the book was presenting it as a annoying thing, which I appreciate. I encounter that too much. Maybe I encounter it too much. Now let me say this. As I'm speaking about things, I do think I genuinely have a tendency to constantly be thinking about other intersectional angles on this. There's going to be a lot of times where I'm saying something about race and then I might start thinking about gender because of this. I might start thinking about sexuality because of the thing that I'm talking about. I think there's a pretty big difference between trying to be intersectional, which is important and good, and sometimes people have a tendency to forget that things are different. Not everything is the same. Someone said there are intersections and systemic oppression, but exactly. Big difference between saying to yourself, oh, systemic oppression is a real thing, and these very systems that are oppressing one person might be oppressing me in a different way, but in a similar way, because we are both marginalized, right? But that's not the same thing as saying same story, different minority. Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy. Someone says the Asian woman trans, at least she's not. But yeah, if that was me saying it in a calming way. Can you let me say it in an inflammatory way really fast? Just to get it off my chest. Some of y'all be forgetting that y'all white. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Listen, it's like not a bad thing per se. I would also love to forget for a day that I'm black. But I see this with allyship a lot of times where I'm looking around at who was saying what about whom, and I'm just like, I think we might have lost. So anyways, that was me saying that in an inflammatory way. And I'm about to pull the same story, different minority on you. Sometimes I'd be forgetting I'm a man. I can't just say anything that pops into my mind. I don't have the same lived experience and amount of insight into some things that I talk about. And it's something I should remember. I can't nominate myself as somebody who can speak over other people who aren't men. That would be insane, right? So like, we all do this, I fear. But yeah, I try to just be someone who's reminding myself of like, remember how much it's productive for me to contribute to any given scenario. There's scenarios where there's a bunch of people talking and I'm like, it's not really productive for me to chime in and then get all of the attention like ratcheted over here onto me, who genuinely isn't affected by these issues in the same way, is how I feel. But yeah, it's all very complex and cute and fun. And I think at the end of the day, none of this registers as infighting to me. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't believe in leftist infighting. That's a psyop. Yes, leftists are going to, well, fight and be annoying and pedantic and all of this other stuff. I choose to ignore that reality and genuinely believe that as long as you're taking a person first political approach, I think we're pretty much on the same side. Now, granted, if you're like obstructing that, you're an op and will be dealt with accordingly. Sorry. But like, as long as you're not, I pretty much am not expecting perfection from anybody, and I really, really hope nobody's expecting perfection from me. Because you're not going to get it. There's always going to be something I say that is, well, just horrible, probably not woke at all. And I don't want it to turn into like leftist infighting. That's not a thing. Let's just educate ourselves. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about everything. So I don't walk around with, like, I guess, bitterness looking at other spaces that ostensibly have my best interests at heart. But I'd be having opinions and thoughts in this dumb brain of mine. And, you know, sometimes I share them. Sometimes I share them. So it's a hard agree. Thank you for understanding. But yeah, it's not that bad. We all have different things to contribute. And I feel like educating yourself is fun. I don't know why people are so annoyed by it. Like, it's not fun to get things wrong, obviously. But it is fun, honestly, to just learn more and feel less, however, I feel less like a goofy goober. You know what I mean? Being goofy is better when it's a choice, not when you're doing it because you dumb as hell. So I'm trying to evolve. I'm always going to wind up being a goofy goober, but that used to be because I wasn't very smart. So I'm trying to evolve into someone who chooses to be a goofy goober in appropriate and tasteful situations, not somebody who is that way by default and winds up just like banging pots and pans. Like, look at me, distracting you guys from actual real issues. That's how I feel. Someone said leftist infighting is so unserious. It's literally so unserious. Like, here, let me show you. Wait, I'm probably not going to be able to find it. It's this illustration that I really like. Fingers pointing meme. Oh God, no! I can't find it. Illustration. Oh, I found it. Okay, cool. So I don't rock with the New Yorker at all. I don't rock with the New Yorker. And I also think that this is a massive oversimplification. But every now and then, I have to make sure I'm not being this person. Like, there are going to be times where I simply disagree with you too strongly that I just will not accept what you're saying. If you start trying to come at me with any sort of, I don't know, like pro-racism, or like if you're trying to ignore real issues in this world like genocide while calling yourself a leftist, or if you're trying to be super pro-capitalism, yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. But when it comes to things, and there are things in this world that don't matter, I don't want to be so focused on the specifics and the minutiae that while other people are simultaneously just mobilizing, or like, okay, we're just gonna get one dude. So it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum of, there are definitely times. Actually, you should all agree with this, if you're being honest, because I think it's 100% leftist over here. There are definitely things we should be arguing over, but it's not everything that we argue over. It's not. Sit down and hash it out with me. We will have a conversation about geopolitics. We will have a conversation about, you don't get to just hype up one minority and ignore the rest. You don't get to chase your rights at the expense of people who are further marginalized. We can have all these conversations, but baby, not everything. Not everything. There are some things that go viral as quote unquote leftist infighting drama, and I'm just like, y'all know damn well that this doesn't actually matter, and that this person probably misspoke. And I'm not even gonna pull specifics because it's just not even worth it at this point. It really, really isn't. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. Don't let nobody distract you. Also, conservative infighting is real and it's hilarious. People, or the right, they really, really love to paint this narrative of we on the left just can't get anything done because we're just so unorganized, which is not true. Well, we could certainly stand to be more organized, but don't let that distract you from the fact that people on the right are fighting with each other all the time in the most insane ways. And usually the way it happens is somebody will do something that is not racist enough for everyone else. I'm being serious. Like, I remember when the Daily Wire made this video featuring Gina Carano from Star Wars, who was ousted from Disney because she was saying like really horrible anti-mask, pro-spreading COVID stuff. And Daily Wire people were mad because they're like, oh my God, you cast a woman in a conservative movie and she's the good guy, literally. So sometimes if you're not even being misogynist enough, then there will be conservative infighting. If you're not being racist enough for everybody else, they're going to get mad at you. And it's happening right now too with like, there's a pretty solid split over Trump and people who are now suddenly trying to fake act like, oh, we're too good for Trump. We're still conservatives, but we don't like MAGA. It's very much a farce because everybody's going to turn around and at the end of the day still vote for the next iteration of that man. But like, yeah, conservative infighting exists and it's a mess. So I refuse to accept the leftists are uniquely bad at interpersonal relationship stuff when these people are so ridiculous, truly so ridiculous. Some said don't even talk about the Daily Wire's Jonathan Majors needs to be jumped along with Ben Shapiro. Well, I can't say he needs to be jumped as someone with a platform, but I can certainly say, what are you doing, Jonathan Majors? Ben Shapiro, no, thank you. Someone in chat said they think we're going to forget they were MAGA. Literally, like, I'm sorry, do you really think that you can support Trump for, it's basically 12 years, right? Like, on God, by the time Trump's this second administration ends, he will have had MAGA people for 12 years. So a lot of these people have been Trump people for a decade. You think that you can do this for a decade and then suddenly realize, oh, this isn't even working out for me now because nobody can afford anything and they're actually turning on this administration, and we're just suddenly going to be like, oh my gosh, let's welcome all of these ex-Trump people with open arms? That's not going to happen. What are you talking about? We were literally keeping tabs. We can actually genuinely see y'all's names on this list. Donated this amount of money, supported this. We're not going to forget. I'm sorry. That's not growth. That's a lie. Someone said, we saw that red hat. We saw you at that rally. You're on camera. You're on camera at that rally. We're literally not going to play this game. Absolutely not. Someone said, if you count the campaign leading up to his first election, it's already been 11 years of this. Literally so annoying, so demoralizing. I'm tired of this. And it literally has been 11 years of this. No, he wasn't the president for a 4-year stretch, but he was still active. He existed. God, such a mess. Someone said a decade of support for a bigot is crazy, honestly. It really, really is. Someone said, have you guys seen the amount of DSA hype though and media demonization? There's hope. Yeah. Speaking of socialism, remain very pleasantly surprised by Zoran Mamdani. Now, I think I have not like a different take. I'm not a contrarian. I like the dude a lot, but I think I'm going to be cautious until the day this man is out of office. Do you understand? I have literally been, I mean, he's not my mayor, but it doesn't matter. I have literally been burned too many times by politicians who I literally thought were infallible to where, wow, that is a really high definition picture. I absolutely support him, but I'm not taking my foot off of Zoran Mamdani's neck until he is out of office. I don't think he's going to disappoint me. I've graduated to, I don't think he's going to disappoint me, but he knows darn well I reserve the right to remain vigilant. Someone say he's killing it. Bro, he's killing it. Like, I can't even be mad. There's literally currently nothing to be mad about. And if he was ever to make a mistake, I'm not going to like act like he's Satan and everything has been discredited and I was secretly right, he was evil. I don't think he's an evil person, right? You just have to be critical of everything that any political figure, any person who has a lot of power is doing. But I remain pleasantly surprised that the man is doing his job. He really is. The bare minimum of seemingly being the kind of person that you said you were going to be in order to get elected, I think is great. And they keep trying to trap him. They on God keep trying to trap this man by asking him questions like, oh, we're going to ask you this really weird question about this or that, or we're going to try to make you seem this, that, or the other. And he just, like clockwork, just dodges and weaves and has a good answer for almost everything. So yeah, okay, Zoran, keep doing what you're doing, broski. I ain't mad at it. That's how I feel about Zoran Mamdani. Very happy. Yay. And hopefully we can have more of this energy. I am annoyed having to get all of my political good news from somewhere I don't even live. I really want to see more of this energy in other places. Someone said his mother raised him right. He can't be thrown off. Yeah, no, he knows how to stand on business, seemingly, which I think is so odd for a politician. I think I feel like it's a dream or something, but I'm happy with it, honestly. Reading chat. Someone said, I'm sad he can never be president. This is how I know God hates us. No, listen. This is actually genuinely how I know. It's not that God isn't real. I thought that he wasn't. But when I realized genuinely that this man was not born in the United States, was born in Uganda, and therefore legally cannot run for president, that's when I realized, oh, God is real. He's just playing in our faces. That's how I feel about that. So sadly, we need another Mamdani-like person who also would qualify as a presidential candidate, and maybe we can get some of this energy in a grander scale. Oh my God, this actually pisses me off so much. It really, really makes me mad, but that's okay. You can't put all of your hope on one person anyway. There will be other people. He is very inspirational. Somebody right now is taking notes about how to run a campaign and to see that you actually can get elected by being this kind of person and you can maintain irrelevance. So yeah, give me a little socialism up in the Oval Office, please. Anybody who's eligible. If you just want to LARP, you know how they have those LARPing channels? Wait, this conversation is getting weird, but I'm already here, so it's fine. You know how they have like those like LARPiplier channels and stuff? Yeah. Okay, a lot of you might not even know about this, but there's this subgenre of YouTube content called LARPing, where basically somebody will take a YouTuber's old content and they will start recreating it to the best of their ability. And so you have like this LARPiplier channel who's just recreating a bunch of Mark's videos. He's not like pretending to be him or anything like that. It's just a thing to do. If anybody wants to do like a Zoran Mamdani presidential LARP campaign, which I feel like is too specific of a phrase, but now you know what it means, feel free. This is the only LARPing I would accept. I mean, I don't know that I don't accept this. I have incredibly mixed feelings about LARP channels. But yes, give me some of that in politics, please. I will be much happier. Someone said this is wild. No, there's literally Markiplier is the only one whose channel I actually know of, but there's like a bunch of these. They have them for Minecraft YouTubers, and these people have like entire careers doing this. I think the way I see it is it's not actually, it's weird. I don't know why I'm lying. It's weird. Now, is it a weirdness that we have never seen in the world? No. I think celebrity impersonation is a very long-running art form. And the fact that we now have celebrity impersonators for the most popular people on YouTube makes a sort of sense to me. But does that mean that I don't find it weird? No. I do find it strange. I can't help myself. Very grateful that whereas I've been quite fortunate in my YouTube career, I'm not this popular because God, no, thank you. No, absolutely not. Someone said the techno LARP situation is especially weird. Okay, no, that was just messed up. I agree with you completely. So there's this YouTuber, or there was this YouTuber named Technoblade, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago at a very young age. Or how 4 years ago. Wow, 4 years ago? I didn't even realize that. And there was a channel running a LARP channel off of this dude. Okay. Somebody was running an entire Technoblade LARP channel of this deceased YouTuber who died of an illness 4 years ago and was getting views and was like, if I remember correctly, like interacting with Technoblade's dad and some really, really weird stuff like that. And I think they have finally stopped, if I remember correctly. That's insane. That's terrible. There's no way that you're ever going to get me to say like, oh, that's totally fine. If the person that you're LARPing is here and is okay with it, then why do I, a third party, need to chime in and say, no, it's actually bad? But like, to do this with somebody's image who is not even here to consent to it, so odd. Someone said a collab. Oh yeah, weren't people literally collaborating? Yeah. It says this channel was literally collaborating with Technoblade's. Not this one. This is the actual Technoblade channel. The LARP channel was literally collaborating with Technoblade's friends, like making a collab, but instead of Technoblade, their friend, it's featuring Techno LARP, and I'm like, yeah, there's a level of weirdness where I can't co-sign this, bro. You've pushed this too far into the realm of the internet was a mistake. Absolutely a mistake. Some very odd behavior. Yeah, no, but so as you see, everything has a dark side. I think at the end of the day, if LARPiplier exists and Markiplier doesn't care, then it doesn't really matter. As long as Markiplier is fine with this isn't hurting anybody. But as you see, people, if there's one thing they're going to do is find out a way of getting weird with it all the time. Someone said so incredibly messed up. It's so dystopian, honestly. I hate to think that somebody could literally just be an image to you. That's like, this wasn't an image. This was a person who had agency, thoughts, and should ultimately have been the one consenting to any usage of their likeness. Yeah, y'all were for that one. Someone said the friends didn't lean into it. They were disturbed by it. Okay, good. Well, I don't even know how that proximity works, because to be fair, I am very much outside of the Minecraft world, which is why I wound up not talking about this, because I realized I wasn't familiar enough with the channels involved and I didn't want to be spreading misinformation. But I did research it, which is why I know all of these things without looking it up. And yeah, I was appalled. I was appalled. No to LARPing people who are not here anymore, please. Thank you. And I guess since I'm here, I will tell you, don't ever do that if I disappear. Don't do that. Holy crap. Reading chat. Someone said the grifts that some people put on is insane. They're so dedicated to it. Yeah, God, put that energy somewhere else, bro. Put it anywhere else. You got so much energy for this. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. Someone said, would you be upset with the D'Angelo LARP channel? I would find it weird. You've asked for my opinion on this. That's all it is. I would not do anything about it. But yeah, I just find it weird. Every single time anyone would bring this to my attention, I'd just be like, oh God, there's another human being pretending to be me on YouTube for views right now. And but off of my old content that I probably don't even support anymore. Yeah, I'd find it weird as hell. So to any potential D'Angelo, I'm sure there's someone else out there who would be more flattered by this. I'm sure there would. What? Come on, guys. And YouTube is popping right now. Now is the time to show up with your own wacky and wild personality. I know we're all getting more and more nostalgic, but like, What? Y'all don't just rewatch people's old videos? That's what I do. Oh my god. Someone said, what did BTS do this time? I'm late as hell. You are pretty late. But don't worry, you can watch my video about it tomorrow. You can watch it tomorrow. Someone says, what if you were clipped and made into a reaction gif or image? No, that's fine. Like, I feel like my image is something I broke up with a long time ago. This voice of mine and the way that I look and my name and my sense of style or my place in the world as a visual concept, all of those things I consider to be different from me, the actual person, because I have to think of myself that way or I will go crazy. So yeah, I don't care if you like, you could draw me, name a character after me, put me on your Pinterest board. All of these things have happened, and that doesn't make me feel weird, because I feel like if you're putting out public content, you should expect people to react to it publicly. I just feel like that's a lot different than another person who's not me watching my videos and trying to adopt my mannerisms over an extended period of time. Even if you literally did one D'Angelo parody, I'm not gonna freak out on you. That's insane. But bro, a whole channel, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. No. Someone said, I'm nostalgic for learning about cool new stuff. Yeah, nostalgic for the part of my life where I was actually growing and changing as a person instead of sliding further and further into my habits every day. Someone said being a clone isn't cute. I mean, it's not. This is something I probably posted on my Facebook back in the 2010s. If you're so busy, no, wait, what was it? Oh, if you're so busy being me, who's out there being you? If you're so busy trying to be me, who's out there trying to be you? Now, when I posted that on my Facebook in the 2010s, I was not an internet personality. I wasn't known for anything, and I had no public presence in any way. And it was literally only my friends liking this and being like, yes, period. I don't know why. Like, this was during the time when everyone thought that they had haters. Remember that? Like, I would constantly see posts about like, oh, the haters can't get me off my grind. None of us had haters. None of us had haters. Nobody was really trying to beat us. I mean, to be fair, I had haters. Everybody does. But like, not to the extent that we were all acting like in the 2010s. So that was a very cringe, dare I say, older Gen Z / millennial take. But I think it's still true. Someone said, you just crushed my lifelong dream of being a D'Angelo rapper. Look, I know you're memeing, but let this be your inspiration to start a you channel. Put the you back in YouTube. Make the wackiest, weirdest videos you possibly can. Someone said to all my haters, someone said now the kids are talking about ops. Literally, we never grow. We never really change as a society. We just go in circles. And so now, instead of everybody having haters, all the kids think that they have ops. You don't have ops. Ain't nobody looking out for you like that. Now, granted, again, I do genuinely believe we actually do have ops in this world. Truly, there are haters out there. You got to watch out for them, but not that many. Some of my haters this, my haters that. Nobody cares. Yeah, like, I feel like I do a pretty decent job as well as an internet person of not even talking about the quote unquote haters, because like, that's wasted energy. There's only so many hours in a day. I can't be excited about this and happy about that and then also mad about a bunch of other people who are mad about something that I'm happy about. That's just silly to me. So I literally simply act as though anyone who doesn't like me doesn't exist. Now, like, if you got criticism for me, I'm finna learn from it. Obviously, I don't think it's the same thing, disliking someone versus criticizing them, and that's why I've learned a lot, and that's why my content gets better over the years. But like, if it's actually on some hater energy where you're just like, oh, I just hate the way you, well, I'm none the wiser. I'm probably not even going to see it. It's literally fine. I think you're an important and valued part of the YouTube ecosystem. That just doesn't need to be my problem. At all. That's how I feel about quote unquote haters. Someone says some people only have haters in their mirrors. That's true though. That's crazy. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I can be my biggest hater. I often am. I won't lie to you. And then you know what? I feel like other things are haters too. I feel like my mental health disorders are haters. I feel like ADHD is my biggest hater. It's literally on some Kendrick Lamar stuff of just constantly gunning for me. And I'm like, why are you literally so obsessed with me to where you're trying to get up in my entire brain right now? You're just a mental health disorder or a neurodevelopmental disorder. Let's be specific with our words. That's how I feel about anxiety, depression, PTSD. I'm like, these are some haters, bro. Why do I actually do have ops in the form of all of these little abbreviations. I hate that for me, but that's okay. Again, I just stunt on them, which means medication and psychotherapy. That's me stunting on the haters. Take that, ADHD. Now I need professional assistance. Really showed you. Someone said OCD, ADHD, they're ops for real. Literally, someone said my borderline personality disorder and CPTSD are my biggest ops other than my parents. It'd be like that. Some of us on God have our parents as our biggest ops, which is crazy. My heart literally goes out to anybody whose parents are your ops, because that is a real thing. Also, you know what's super dangerous? Thankfully, I'm not in this scenario, but I've seen how bad this is. I have literally seen people's parents be in entire competitions with their child. I think out of all the configurations of parent that you can roll in this parental gotcha, that's one of the worst pulls, is a parent who wants to be in competition with you for any reason. Dads do this, moms do this, any parents can do this. I've seen it. It's not a gender thing, it's not a nothing. I feel so bad for people who are in that scenario because it's so obvious from the outside. I'm like, oh my God, you literally you think that you have spawned a competitor. That's not what you did. You're supposed to be here for this person. You're not supposed to be competing with this person for resources, love, affection, attention, time. I really don't understand being that kind of parent. Someone said trigger me a little bit. Yeah, sorry if it's getting a little too real. It's thankfully not my parents, but it's something I've encountered, unfortunately, in a familial context. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Come on, maybe no. Someone said, how do we get on this topic? We were talking about haters, and I was trying to say no one has haters, but then I was like, some people do have haters. And sadly, some people's haters are your parents, which is wild as hell. But you know what? I feel like the opening line of Anna Karenina, where it's like, happy families are all the same, but every unhappy family is unhappy in its own unique way. And that's how I feel about parents. I feel like we all have a different, unique, special, amazing relationship with our parents. Whatever that means. And that's how I feel. I happen to feel as though I have I'm in a good spot. But I wasn't always. And it's just a touchy subject, bro. We all got to figure out what this whole having parents thing means, because it's something different for all of us. It really sucks. Someone said someone who isn't a chud, quoting Anna Karenina. Well, to be fair, that's the only line I know from that book. I didn't read that joint. I don't really know much about Tolstoy. I did read War and Peace, bafflingly. And do I remember anything that was in there? No. I was literally just reading it out of boredom. I truly, truly was. Reading chat. So I'm sorry to all those who have crappy parents or a parent. Yeah, no, it's... The thing is, though, I know that this is going to sound campy. There's literally so much love in this world that is actually set aside for you. I'm not going to get religious on you. I don't think it's God or the universe or something. I think genuinely love is actually a resource. And we a lot of times think that it has to be coming from these sources. And when it doesn't come from where it's supposed to come from, it's devastating. Literally the worst thing. But that actually doesn't mean that that love is missing or that it's not in this world. That's what I sort of learned. Unfortunately, losing contact with a lot of family members, I then grew to realize actually, like, wow, that's crazy. I was so focused on trying to draw water from this particular stone, I was ignoring the entire ocean. You know what I mean? So much love. And so now I go looking for it in places where I'm actually going to find it. I go looking in places where, like, and hey, it's really sad that the family is not a place that you should go looking for love. If that's you, I really hate that for you because I know what it's like. But also, don't look for it. You know what I mean? Easier said than done, obviously, but don't despair. Someone said chosen families. For real, for real, for real. But anyways, that's pretty much all I've got to say for today. I don't know why I was really on one. I think I'm probably going to wind up being so chill next stream because I said everything from the whole kit and caboodle today. But I enjoyed myself. Sometimes you're just feeling a little spicy, and I think that's how I felt today. Thank you so much for everything. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Hopefully on Saturday we shall see. All right. Let's see.